Yeah, today's show is sponsored by Utility AF. That means utility as F. You can imagine what the F stands for. Spray duster. Great for spray dusting, as in, say you've got various nooks and crannies or cracks in various pieces of laptops, microphones. I'll just give you an example here of how to use it. So yeah, it really cleans out your microphone so that everybody can hear you perfectly, absolutely perfectly. Solid gold every time. Right, yeah, so that's that. Spray duster, make sure you get some as soon as possible. Hello there to Facebook user, i.e., I imagine this is either Sean or somebody like that. I don't know. No, it's not Sean. It's probably somebody else. I'm not sure. It could be Gary. No, I don't think so. Gary's got his own YouTube. I would say to Facebook user, if you get the chance to sign up for YouTube, then you've got your own ID on there. So I think that's a good idea. Firstly, with this video, I'm not sure if there's going to be anyone else on it for reasons I've already explained in previous videos, really. I'm not like, I'm not sort of a really cheerleading for people to try and come on the video constantly. I can't. They either want to come on it or they don't. I'm not going to just sort of keep trying to encourage people to come on it when they know, we always did it like 7 p.m. UK time and everything. And I just wanted to direct people to a show we did yesterday morning on Saturday. That's got me on it, Voltaire and Johnny. So that's the previous video on the channel. It's worth seeing. I think it was generally a good discussion, but also we had Voltaire on after something of an absence from Coffee Time. So he definitely brings something to videos, a certain degree of humor and some pretty good observations usually. So that was a good show overall, and I enjoyed it. Let me just get this sorted out here a minute. So yeah, I mean, Facebook user, if you want to tell anybody who you are, i.e., me, um, please do. Anyone else who's watching, please tell everybody else to come and watch, because I was going to mention a new film I've watched last night, which I thought was worth talking about. But ideally, I would want to be talking about different things with people who also are watching the same stuff as me. Not just kind of going into just discussions about what each of us watched, because I think it's much better to be all on the same kind of page, or at least all on board the same topic, really. But I think bearing in mind that Voltaire was back on a video yesterday with Johnny, that it went pretty well overall. So I recommend to anyone out there to go and watch it, see what you think. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, I think. I mean, I've invited other people on right now, but I think this is my opinion anyway, but I think that the interest of people in this kind of video about, say, general discussions about films and everything. I mean, yes, obviously, I do talk quite a bit about Twin Peaks, obviously, and related topics. But I think if you've not got like a video that's time stamped, and done professionally and all this kind of thing, then it is going to be difficult to get viewers. Because I do think there are a lot of good people in the chat, for instance, who can make some good film recommendations. For instance, like Footprints in the Sand. Recently, I can't remember specifically whether that was Monkey Island or Phantom Cooper. I mean, I haven't watched that one yet, but last night I watched a film called The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, which stars well, it's mainly, I mean, the main star that people will have heard of is Chris Christopherson, but that gives, the film itself is not American, it's a British film. And I actually slightly confused it with The Witch Who Came from the Sea. Even the poster itself is slightly reminiscent of that. So, don't confuse it with that. It's from 1976. Chris Christopherson, Sarah Miles, although the focus of the film, I would say, largely goes to the youngsters in it, who are around, I would say, age 12, 13 or so. They're supposed to be, I think, privately educated, rather easily led boys who have got this one character who sort of calls himself Chief, and he is an almost sort of Nietzschean Uberman, even from his very, Aryan looks, kind of, all blonde, sort of, reminds me actually a little bit of an actor who appears in the film Holocaust 2000. Anyway, I'm going off of the topic now, but the film was categorized on the wherever I was looking online as horror, and so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll watch this. It's 1 hour 45 minutes or something. Give this a chance. And I think especially when it involves youngsters and they're plotting against the adults and this kind of idea, based on it, as it is actually based on a novel by the Japanese writer Yukio Mishima. I'm reading some of this from Wikipedia, but I imagine obviously the novel is sort of based in Japan, and this is translated completely to Dartmouth in Devon, of all places. And you know, the locations and everything in it are very much to the forefront. It's based around this seaside, well, not seaside town, more like a port. Some really beautiful locations. Some of the photography in it as well is just very, you don't see that kind of photography often, and particularly in films nowadays. I mean, but it does start off, I would say, for the first half, very slow, as a lot of films probably, you know, did then compared to nowadays, which is a good thing in a way. It's like a kind of slow burn film, but then it goes towards this ending where it all seems almost preordained, and I won't sort of you know, spoil the entire story or something, but it's definitely worth seeing. So I'll probably have to put my headphones on in a minute, actually. To be honest, I wouldn't say that the film makes really, you know, an awful lot of sense, but it's pretty good in its own way, its own sort of craziness. I mean, there are things in it which I just can't imagine a film nowadays really depicting in the same kind of way at all, or even going anywhere near, because it's just way too unsettling. I think the film is genuinely unsettling, and Mark Kermode, you know, has reviewed it for the BFI. There's a video, only a very short video on YouTube, and he talks about how it stayed with him after seeing it on TV in the 80s or so. And it's definitely, as he says, you know, he is right, I would say. I never really understand this kind of saying, but, you know, it's not a film for everyone, or it's not for everyone, this idea. Like, I mean, really, what film is for everyone, you know? But it's, I think what that basically means, it's like a polite way of saying that the film is stepping on or stepping into sort of dangerous territory, you know, or like sacred ground where you are sort of stepping on long held beliefs and even sort of being blasphemous or just disrespectful in some ways to the audience even. I don't know about the Mishima book, but I imagine that's a big influence, obviously. It's just that the way the children behave in this film is particularly sort of unusual, in that they catch a cat and then basically sacrifice it on screen, which is an unusual sort of thing. I mean, I certainly didn't find it pleasant at all. It was just... you know, it was depicted in a very strange way, I would say. But
hey, James.
Hi there.
Thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, Davrin in the chat. Just stop being. Just be yourself. Don't be like this kind of invention. You know, you're just talking crap, basically. So I just wanted to make this video into something like, watch the one we did on, you know, Saturday morning, basically, for me.
Oh, the other show we did? Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, like kind of, you know, to tell people that. And then I went into a discussion of me having watched this film called The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, which is, like I was telling people originally, I got it a bit confused with The Witch Who came from the sea, but it's not that. It's not certainly, it is. It was kind of categorized as horror online, you know, wherever it was on Amazon or something.
Yeah.
But it's just a bizarre film. And Mark Kermode, who, you know, don't you, surely?
Yeah. Did he highly praise it?
Well, he said it's not for everyone. And I was kind of discussing that, saying as in what that really means. And I mean, I interpret that as meaning partly it steps on a few toes. It's not kind of going by, you know, general standards we have in society, because there is a scene in it where these young boys in it who are kind of behaving almost, well, one of them describes him, the leader of the group, as like, he's like kind of Nietzschean in it, but I don't exactly, I think they're behaving almost amoral, basically, especially this leader. And he says that everything has its kind of natural law in the world as such, right? But to know that, you have to kind of cross boundaries, which I can see. It makes sense from an artistic standpoint, etc. But I certainly don't agree with what happens in this film, which I have mentioned. But, you know, and I know it's a dodgy topic for you as well, but, and I don't want to be like provocative or anything, but they do like basically catch a cat in the film and then they literally dissect it, which is really disturbing, especially when it's like 13-year-old boys who are like privately schooled, kind of basically a bit poncy, but they kind of follow around this one who's like acting like a complete sociopath, basically, you know, kind of.
So this movie doesn't really have any, I guess, quote unquote heroes, because you're saying it doesn't.
No, precisely.
Okay.
That's I mean, basically, Chris Christopherson is in it playing an American sailor who has to abort his mission or whatever and land in Devon, like in England, and it's just some of the photography in it is just absolutely stunning. It's like this big boat. And
this movie sounds really intriguing because I love beautiful shots.
It's slightly, and like there's this one shot where Sarah Miles, who's the mother of the young boy who becomes disenchanted and then sort of falls under the spell of this more wicked boy, like there's this one shot where she's sort of standing on the bay, and then the camera does this long zoom, you know, into the fields and stuff, and the boys are up there, like, you know, say 2 miles away or more. You just don't see that kind of thing in films nowadays. I mean,
which I can appreciate.
If you saw it on the cinema back in the day, you'd be like, what? But on the other hand, the film mixes this terrible stuff with terrible events or terrible sort of depictions of certain things, but although it does actually do that in an abstract way, and you can tell that I'm kind of quite passionate about the film. But I think I wouldn't advise everyone to watch it. I would say that actually it is.
I'll definitely check it out, but I'll most likely skip or like fast forward that scene you were telling me about the cat. But other than that, I'll watch
it. Doesn't show it like actually, if you know what I mean. It doesn't show them actually.
Sometimes the implication could. I hear what you're saying,
but it's actually almost more disturbing in a way, because it's sort of got this. Actually, Kermode described it as fetid. I don't know, but it's like it lingers on you. It's one of these. I mean, and in a way, like how many films nowadays just have that effect on you? You know, And he compared it. Well, he compared it to The Wicker Man. So, but I don't think only in the sense of the. It really isn't like The Wicker Man as such, apart from the perhaps sort of a old English community. But
he's probably referring to the original Wicker Man, right? Like the 1973 British one, or
of course. But I think it's got this element of folk horror about it, and I think there is a scene where basically the young boy in it, his mom keeps locking him in his room because he keeps going out at night to hang around with these other boys who are like. Especially the leader, as I said, you know, they're not a good influence, obviously. But, you know, locking him in his room is not necessarily a very good answer either, because he starts like dismantling his room a bit, chucking stuff everywhere. And he pulls out these cupboards, and then he kind of looks underneath, and there's a hole. And there's these probably 2 scenes or more where he watches his mother undress at night. So it's like, what? What's going off? Like, and then he watches her, you know, with Chris Christopherson making sweet love. I mean, it's just but the making sweet love scenes are not like that. They're like, it's just because you know that the little boy's watching, and it's just like, I mean, not that little boy. But still. It's just like, and then when she finds out, she goes crazy. Understandably, really.
But I would too.
He manages to deal with it in a more sober way, kind of thing, you know, like, but still the little boy is basically, it goes into this Oedipal aspect where he's actually jealous now, you know, of his mother having someone new. He's not necessarily wanting to be in his mum's room making sweet love to her, but he wants to
I don't know.
be her main guy,
Yeah.
Probably does, yeah. But it's just
the
a bit
extended
mad
director's
'cause it's
cut.
like-
Got fantasies. Yeah.
I'll tell you, no, don't have any setting in any house anywhere where your son can watch you undress in the nude. That's just, and it's like it just makes you think slightly like, well, that's a pretty obvious hole down there. She would have seen that somewhere like before at some point.
Mhm.
And they're living in this kind of rather
Mm.
very nice kind of almost. It looks American style. I don't know if this is like something to do with Devon or whatever, but
Mm.
presumably ships did actually, visit these ports, and maybe some of that American influence rubbed off with the housing or something. But it's a very interesting film, but very strange.
Yeah, definitely. I want
Sure.
to check that out for sure. And would you watch it, James, on Amazon or?
Let me just check now because I can't honestly remember.
That's top of my list now. I want to check that out.
I kind of look through films and then I'm like,
This sounds like a
I
really
think,
good one.
but I just think like, is it going to be something that I enjoy?
Mhm.
Or is it going to be, I don't know, like a comedy? You could have a laugh or something, but this was definitely not a comedy. I mean,
No, yeah.
but I think if a film stays with you, that's something, isn't it? So,
Yeah, I'd say that's a
hello, Jamie. By the way,
good accomplishment from the
Yeah.
director.
of course, it doesn't appear now on what I've just watched.
Of
All I've
course,
got
yeah.
is like War Games coming up. Do you know the film War Games, right? Like the first 20
Yeah.
minutes or so of the film is literally nothing to do with Matthew Broderick. It's
Literally, yeah. I know.
It's bizarre.
I know. A lot of
And then it
movies.
just goes to him like,
I found a lot of movies from the 70s and 80s either it felt like they almost had two scripts always per movie. It's almost like what started the film usually is not how it finished, or what started the film is not how it
Sailor
finished.
who fell
It
from
always felt
grace
like
with the Trixie.
a mixed mash of different films always, or scripts.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to do that whilst we're both on here talking. It's come up with Santiago of the Seas now.
Mm.
No, it's all right. I'll not watch Santiago of the Seas. It's a children's thing. So let me just look it up. Sailor who fell from
Okay.
grace.
Hmm.
Apparently made about 7 million back in 1976. So
That's pretty good.
I think that's okay, but obviously I think this film wouldn't exactly appeal to everybody. So Sailor who anyway, I just wanted to say that the show yesterday was worth watching for anybody out there, and also more importantly, in a way, I think we all enjoyed it really.
Mhm.
Well, Voltaire's actually sent me a long letter on parchment, which he wrote immediately after it. With
On parchment.
I did notice there was some tear drops, and he was saying that was the greatest show I've ever done, James. Thank you, and thank you again.
Mm.
And I just sent him a text saying it's okay, mate. Spelled M8.
Mm.
He put
So
a
he sent you a parchment where he rolled it up, probably gave you like the little seal, had it sent by like air carrier, and then you just sent him a text. Thanks, mate.
No, but he did the video from his garage.
It sounded like I know.
No, I mean he did. He said he did. I don't know why.
So you must have like a wireless or something wireless. I don't know, like a headphone or something, headset.
No, I think he literally just pulled in. He said at night he likes to just cruise Sunset Strip looking for hookers, and not actually picking them up, just looking at them.
Just looking
Which
for
is
them.
fine,
So we caught him when he was done doing
Completely acceptable.
this. Mm-hmm.
And taking photos of them all.
Mm-hmm.
To put on his wall.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's what's wrong with that anyway. I mean, I think that's normal. But I think
Sure.
it's basically on Amazon, I think. That's all. It's just look it up anyway. It's got Sarah Miles, Chris Christopherson, the young boy in it is called Jonathan Kahn, director Louis John Carlino. After his father dies, a disturbed young boy plots to take revenge on the new man in his mother's life.
It's
I'll
amazing
show
how
you
they
my,
sum it up always.
TV.
Very cool.
I mean, the thing is, they try to sell it basically as if it looks like, and you just think, oh, it looks like a romance or something, or
Looks like a movie from what year is it
No.
from?
76.
Oh, okay, I was going to say it looks like it's from 76. Okay, cool.
Well, the style of the illustration, I mean, that looks like more like 66. But yeah, the 70s were a bit of a strange decade in terms of design and things like that.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, I think this one is a bit stuck in the past in some ways, especially in terms of the way it's filmed and everything, and there's this whole sequence where basically the boy is obsessed with boats. And they go on the boat and they're just standing looking at these things like pumping up and down, like, like, and you're just thinking, I never even thought about how a boat works. How does a boat work?
Yeah.
Then I thought to myself, like, that after the film ended, I said, I don't know how a boat works.
Yeah.
And then I crawled underneath my bed and just stayed there the whole night thinking, how does a boat work? Because under my bed, it was a bit like being in a submarine, sort of, and I was just... and I woke up in, like, covered it from head to toe in sweat. And,
oh my God.
Like, lying on my front. Strange night, anyway, that's all I can say. Strange night.
For sure.
Did you watch anything in between well, it was sort of like Friday night. No. Yeah, it would be like Friday night for you, wouldn't it? It was like in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah, let me just refresh my memory.
It doesn't matter specifically. I mean, as long as you were on the video, that's all that matters.
Yeah. What did I say? I saw something called Moon 02. It was a movie from like the 70s or something. It was one of those.
Another one of these.
Yeah.
Turkeys. But they're not actually turkeys, are they? They're just... A turkey is one like Exorcist. Well, no, Exorcist 2 actually wasn't a turkey because it made
No, I
money.
wouldn't consider. Yeah, for sure.
A turkey is like Ishtar from the 80s.
Yes.
But films that were expensive that ended up being like a big flop.
Yeah.
So, some people have tried to sort of say that about the new Indiana Jones, but I don't think it's necessarily a turkey.
That's a gray zone, yeah. Because I'd say something like Waterworld back in the day, that was a huge turkey.
Yeah, or The Postman even, but nobody even cared about The Postman. So. And then as years went by, some people are like, oh, I really like The Postman. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
You like your postman. Like, that's not normal. Okay. You should be more... You can't like go around like following postmen around when they're on their
yeah, you can't do
route or whatever, saying, hey, sugar tits or something, and you can deliver my mail anytime. Just push it through my letterbox, please.
Sugar tits. I haven't heard that in a while.
I'll be lying down on the floor, saying that to a man as well. If a woman says that to a man, that's not acceptable, is it? That's sexual harassment.
Yeah.
So I get the idea from Voltaire mainly because he does say that to a lot of men.
Does he?
It's a way of getting dominance, so Jamie, it is a very touching story, and the fact that he did the video from his car, which is a Tesla. I mean, I didn't really like how he kept beeping his horn at certain points. He did actually beep it at one point.
He did.
When he was, I don't know if he was sort of like angry or trying to say to me, James, that's a load of crap or something, stop. But because I got a message as well then from Josh saying, apparently you went apeshit on the video. Voltaire told me all about this. And we're saying bad things about me. And I was like, I said, well, you can take that and shove it, because I didn't say anything about you. It was Voltaire himself who was saying it about you. So maybe, be a little bit less accusatory, and learn some manners. Get it? And he said, oh, right, sorry. And then he said, you're right, James, actually.
Yeah.
you know, and then he immediately messaged Voltaire to say, "Stop making out that I'm like pretentious," because he kept calling Josh pretentious about 20 times.
Yeah, it was pretty. Because
It's
of
not very subtle, you know. I mean,
what's the director you like? Nolan, right? Because he's a huge fan of Nolan, right?
yeah, Nolan basically. Oppenheimer. Josh
Mhm.
did go and see Oppenheimer, but it wasn't on film in his area, celluloid.
Mm.
So
I would love to know in the
it's
chat
just the
anybody
fact that
who else has seen Oppenheimer. Anybody else in the chat? Because I know obviously James. We've talked about it. Be really interesting.
Josh liked it, but I mean, I think on the other hand, he kind of probably likes it because it's Nolan.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
only kidding now. I think Josh would admit that it's not exactly say, you know, the same as say Tenet or something, you know, like it's completely
Mm.
different to that. So um it really is just a biopic, as you said at one point, I think. But I mean, certainly a very well made biopic, but
Yeah.
that is basically what it is, you know.
Between that and Barbie, I'd rather have go see Barbie. At least you'll get more entertainment. Just on an entertainment level.
But you know, you could probably, I don't know how many TV movies or series even or anything have been made about Oppenheimer. Maybe not many, but
But the point you
it
brought up
really
many
is just
times is
very well
yeah.
made.
But you brought up the
Yeah,
point many
made for
times that
TV movie.
what Lynch did in season 3, episode 8, how far superior just that scene was. Like that almost trumps not even wanting to see the movie just because how much better Lynch did it, you know? As far as the explosion and as far as, you know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is, and I mentioned that to somebody who,
Mhm.
you know, to somebody in a cinema who I was talking to, and they were probably just thinking, oh, like this is a bit bizarre, but you know,
Mhm.
the thing is, they probably have heard of Twin Peaks, but the thing is, the way it's depicted in part 8, like you have to have quite a good TV and probably listen to it on headphones or a very good sound system to fully appreciate it. But I mean, for me, I think it's really well done, Lynch's whole. But I think it does come into that category of it's not necessarily for everyone either. I mean, it basically becomes like an art installation or something at that point. But I enjoyed it, so you know.
That's good. At least at least you enjoyed it, you know.
And it kind of, I don't mean Oppenheimer. I mean, I'm talking about part 8 of Twin
Oh, yeah,
Season
that. Yeah,
The Return. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like, for instance, it's almost comical sometimes the way Lynch sort of stretches things out so long. But the actual visuals and some of that has, I mean, that episode was released on 4K on the Zeta A set, so
Oh, wow.
it does look good. Whereas in Oppenheimer, you kind of, I think the blast is shown in pretty much a lot of it is black and white, and then they show some of it in color,
Yeah.
probably for the effect. But it's really, you've seen it all before it gets to the actual blast, because there's all these sort of in between shots where it's sort of, it's a depiction more of Oppenheimer's mental state or something almost. But I don't think necessarily Nolan's that good at doing that
Mm.
on the basis of this anyway. I mean, I'm not sure how good he is at showing the inner life of his characters, etc. Because you know, he deals with films where the characters often are very, you know, stoical, like Batman or.
Yeah. Plus,
So,
he's had like Voltaire used to bring up the great point about, especially the one with the Joker. Like he has such a great cast, and Heath Ledger put in literally an Oscar performance, right? Didn't he win an Oscar post after he passed away? I think for that, or a supporting
I don't know.
actor. Yeah, he actually won an
Probably.
award for that. Yeah, it's so like to have that, you know, in your film, that type of actor, like that's going to just bring everything. You know, I'm not saying the film wasn't impressive. The film is. I watched it not too long ago, and it's still got incredible scenes, great action scenes, but. Uh, it's the only standout film of mine of his that I like. The other ones, you know, are kind of.
Yeah.
I've never really
And
gone back
I
to
think
watch
Memento is a good film, but on the other hand, I'm not like kind of rushing to watch it again. Like I saw it originally when it came out on the cinema.
hmm
And obviously at that point, nobody really knew anything about Christopher Nolan much. I mean, I don't think we know much about him now, even. His films just, he's more about the films rather than any kind of giving off some kind of character of himself. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I would always be interested in watching a film of his, but then on the other hand, I've never watched Dunkirk, and many
Same
people
here.
say that's one of his best.
Really? So I missed one of his best ones. So I gotta go check that now. Okay. Oh, shit.
Well, it has got Harry Styles in it, so
Oh, okay. This is a plus.
I have got a massive, I'm a massive fan of Harry Styles.
Nice.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I don't-
so. I know so. Get it!
Okay.
But yeah, that was
Mandela Man, how are you?
Hello, boys. How's it going?
good
Long
evening.
time.
Welcome, and thank you for turning up.
Still got that popcorn lung, as you can hear.
You smoke the vape? Sometimes they say the vape
Uh,
does that. Vape does that?
No, that's the problem. I went on a vape for like 8 months, and then when I went back to cigarettes, that's when I kind of developed it's like a constant thing. And
Yeah, I'm the opposite right now. I just started the vape just to try it out.
well, that's what I'm saying, Johnny. You got to stick with it. Like,
Sorry, I'm laughing at Phantom Cooper's
don't ever
comments
go
more
back
than
now,
this.
because it really opens your lungs. Now you gotta stick with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Phantom Cooper, can I
trying to
just say,
smoke less.
please don't write about Voltaire's victims. That's not, because if we put stuff on that, if that's even on the screen now, that's not really encouraging him to come back, is it?
Why was Voltaire getting
If he by any chance sees this, he wasn't 4 a.m. It was more like about,
Well, his time it was closer to
midnight for
12 or 1. Yeah, 12 or 1. Yeah.
because it was like I got up quite early, and just thought, oh, okay, I'll do a video,
Mhm.
and it kind of turned out all right in the end, didn't it? So
Yeah, it was really good.
I've seen-
particularly Voltaire's comments about Josh.
Did you see
Jamie
Oppenheimer?
Corto
Mandela?
put in a woodchuck.
You saw Oppenheimer, Mandela Man? What did you think of it?
I saw Oppenheimer.
Because comparing that to episode 8, the bomb blast, because me and James have been talking about how much Lynch did it.
Well, it's
better.
not. The thing is, I kept going on about how that was more exciting and stuff,
Mhm.
and that Oppenheimer was a bit almost dull. And this guy behind the bar in the cinema said, "Yeah, I don't think that it's supposed to be like a fun film."
I honestly
Wow.
thought I
my
honestly
God.
thought when the
What?
bomb went off
Hey, no.
that we were gonna see more of like particles and going into it, kind of like it was gonna be a
Yeah, that's what I said. I wanted.
to Lynch or 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Ooh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was a little.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah.
was more like Threads or something. With they concentrated more on the afterblast,
They showed the
which is not like when somebody evacuates their bowels or something. It's like that kind of delay.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a delay, and then they go. Well, he doesn't do that. If he actually did that in the film, that would be better.
I thought
It's just so kind of.
I thought it was intensely.
It's all right, but it's
I thought it was a 10 out of 10. To be honest with you.
really.
Yeah,
I thought you would enjoy it probably because it's so based on real events and sort of
I love
American history. So
political thrillers like that. Is very.
I did think the scene with Truman was very good, with Gary Oldman playing Truman, and he says,
Now he's done.
and he said to Oppenheimer, get him out of here because he's making out that it's all his basically.
I've got blood on my hands. He's like, man, stop you crying. I dropped the bomb, not you. Get the fuck out of my mouth.
Now Oldman has Gary Oldman is old man in this reality, but now he's done both Winston Churchill and Truman. I think that's kind of. It'd be
very
cool.
cool.
It'd be cool to see a movie with the two of them like going back and forth. I don't.
Well, I mean, it gives you.
That fits history exactly. Yeah.
Einstein is in the film, played by Tom Conti, who's pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, that's a joke, right? Einstein will be back. I keep seeing that meme going around. That's not
I don't even know what that means.
That's not going to be like a sequel.
What do you mean, like Oppenheimer 2?
Yeah. It was like
Yeah, don't do that, Nolan.
I don't know.
Why did you do that?
I think it's got to be made up. but it's listed as like a leak.
No, I think
Really?
it's basically his
Oh my
like
God.
serious film to get Oscars and stuff like that, and like
A little homage to Einstein.
you couldn't argue that it's superior to Tenet, for instance. I imagine you think that so, Ben, but
I like this better than Tenet, but I don't know. You know,
the thing with Tenet is it's just very hard to understand what the hell's going off. I mean, basically, like, you know,
I honestly, when I'm watching it,
why are things going backwards? Why is the new dancing dwarf? What's happening?
I know. At least throw that in.
I kind of longed for him to have done the Howard Hughes thing more. I think that would have been more interesting and more intrigue. But I thought it was a really great movie.
But there's
I
wasn't
saw
The Aviator about Howard Hughes.
I know that's why he didn't do it, but he was, you know, they were going to do that at one time. Nolan.
He didn't do it. What do you mean by do it?
Yeah, because The Aviator was made and Spielberg did it. That's why he decided against it. He had Christopher Nolan had accrued all this.
Oh no, The Aviator was Scorsese, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a pretty good film, as I remember. I mean, I think that with this film, basically, Nolan refused to use CGI, which is just
Scorsese, 'cause DiCaprio-
insane,
Yeah.
frankly,
Scorsese. I'm not
I guess
sure.
you're right.
in some ways. But on the other hand,
There's
maybe
three-
it was just. It did remind me of certain things, like, for instance, Oppenheimer only ever had sex with women who were on top, which is very Richard and Diane kind of thing, you know.
I was watching a documentary on it, and they were saying that Jean was probably most likely a lesbian, and that she had relationships with women when he was with her, like earlier.
Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with the sexual position, is it? Like, you know, it just
How about-
means that he was in that position at that point. But, you know,
How about Mary?
like, he may have been very tired, especially, and so he didn't want to do loads of pumping or something. But that's in itself is a myth. Like, the pumping is not really something that women enjoy. So
Is that what you got out of the movie?
that is one of the lessons of Oppenheimer, actually.
Okay. All right. I see.
I said that to somebody just on the street afterwards. I said that
Oh my
go and see Oppenheimer. It shows you how to do sex. Because considering I've not done it for 60 years, it's very helpful. Thank you.
I like that scene. I thought that was interesting. How
And then
about
I
Mary,
walked into a street sign.
how about Mary Poppins as his wife? She really killed it, knocked it out of the park with that accent.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah. I thought she was
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Yeah, she really.
I think it's always best to call them by the actual actress's name, not some other role. Like, I was thinking, was Julie Andrews in the film?
No, the second Mary Poppins, her second form, I should say.
When that girl from Midsummer came in it, and you could see her nipples. I mean, come on. What?
That actress loves to show her nipples. Every chance she gets, every picture she
Well,
takes.
every film.
No, and every picture she takes in promotionals and stuff, she always has something see through. Always.
I mean,
Well, I think that's one of the benefits of not having massive jugs.
Emily Blunt really felt like a Midwestern.
You're onto something.
I know I experienced this myself because I do have massive jugs. And,
You are see through stuff
No.
outside.
they are painful, actually. So, as is my penis.
I thought Emily Blunt really she felt like a different actress almost. Like
Don't say it. Don't say the C word, please.
I like her work. You know, I'm a fan.
Well, she's one of her first films she did called My Summer of Love is very good.
Oh,
I
I want
recommend
to
it.
say, I'm not a robot, and I did go see The Sound of Freedom, and
James loved that movie.
Also-
He will not
Right.
stop talking about that.
oh,
Movie.
did you see it, James?
All right, please. That was not even.
Like-
No, I mean it wasn't. It's not the same in this country, is it? Come on.
Did you see it?
We don't have I mean, it probably did get released here, I imagine, but no, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Let me just say, like the the idea of the movie and saving children and everything that I support all that, but watching the film, it was not very like a very exciting film. It made you feel like really like hit with a bat after you walked out of the theater emotionally.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sorry, not Davrin. Oppenheimer is similar.
I started to imagine a time where in Hollywood there's these two different camps, and we're gonna have these like Christian boring kind of films and that are, you know what I mean, like that kind of. I got that feeling from it. It not amateurish or anything. I mean, it was well done and everything. It just dragged like no tomorrow.
Mhm.
Just really like a sad experience, kind of, and
So it's not going to win any Oscars then.
it just felt
I think
it felt maybe a little, I dare say, like manipulative.
Mhm.
shit.
So it didn't end. It ended pessimistically, then not optimistically. Like
No, it ended. Everybody, the kids got saved and stuff, and that's
Okay.
great. It's based on a real mission and everything, but they're kids, in another country, and we got this problem in our country. And I felt like even if it was a documentary and you're watching the real person talk about it, that's a lot more riveting than the movie was, the film itself.
So something like that Ron Howard one that was, I've not watched it, but it's got like Colin Farrell and where they get 13 something it's called days where they're
You want to watch a good movie about a subject like that is the Joaquin Phoenix one. I'm trying to think of the name.
Something me.
What the Joaquin Phoenix where he saves the
Detective one?
he saves one of those, the blonde Dakota.
Oh, you were
Dakota
never here.
Yeah, he's looking for her the whole
He's
movie.
like real meek in the movie.
That's a good movie about human trafficking, but it's not based on
like
a real event like this is, and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's just
Yeah, but I think, like, for instance, films like that, obviously that's a fiction film, like the 13 Days film where they rescued those children who were underwater and stuff. That is a real story, and it's got like Colin Firth, not Farrell. Like,
okay, yeah.
he's playing like this kind of English sort of accountant or something, like, I don't know. And it's like, I think we're better sort this situation out here. Like, but apparently I've not seen it yet. But like when they rescued the children and everything, they had to kind of put them on, anesthetize them or something. Not anesthetize them, sedate them or whatever, and then put the breathing apparatus on and everything, because they had to literally take them like, I don't know how long, but half a mile or maybe further than that. I don't know. Underwater.
Oh, wow.
Insane. But the thing is, that kind of film, it would just freak me out too much.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
Especially Colin Firth's accent. Like, I think we better sort this problem out here. There's some children under there. I don't know why he's in Malaysia or wherever it happened, but maybe he was just on holiday.
He's just pointing. Look over there. Some children.
Yeah, but it's like there was this news story where people were like climbing over a climber who was basically very badly injured and sadly passed away. And like all these people are just interested in getting to the summit. I've never understood this kind of thing, but
yeah,
it's a bit like what happened with Julian Sands, which I think we still have to do a tribute to by watching Boxing Helena, as you said. What happened to him was tragic, but on the other hand,
got a special copy.
Oh, really?
Special copy where Julian Sands' character, he has a voiceover the whole time that the regular copy of Boxing Helena doesn't have. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's on the Laserdisc or something. Because I didn't invite Cameron on today, but he's going somewhere. So
right. And Julie, you heard about Julian Sands, my brother's here. You heard about him, right? Disappeared on the mountain, like 411 style.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, they found his remains. So you know,
Oh, they did find him?
Oh,
Yeah,
no
sadly.
way. They did?
Well, I mean,
Oh.
not sadly, but
The first time,
that's
Yeah.
that's a good thing, really, because then his
Mhm.
families know. But I mean, in a way, it's like, you know, he kind of went out doing what he loves, but it's still tragic, obviously.
Do you know any more details
You know-
about how the body was found or where it was found?
What it
James?
looked like.
He had a copy of Boxing Helena in his bag, and
Yeah, you're fucking with me now. Come on.
I don't know.
I
Do
would
a
think that'd
tease,
be
Louise.
realistic
Come on.
if that
Can
was.
we just please stop talking about this in respect to Julian Sands?
His
I-
death was deemed
know-
undetermined. They couldn't figure out what it was. Maybe he just got lost, you know.
Yeah, dude.
He did have a portable DVD player and was watching Boxing Helena and was found with his he's a left-handed with his hand on
Hmm.
his
We
member.
should also
Frozen.
watch Warlock too. Just just also.
Because there are some scenes of Sherilyn Fenn topless in that film. I will just tell people out there
Oh,
as a warning, not because you want to see
that's a
it.
warning.
So
You know,
I did actually mention that when I met her. I said, "I saw your tits."
What a way to break the ice.
That one movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
She called security immediately. I said, "I'm just joking. It's a joke. Get it?"
Immediately.
Hey,
Oh no, he's back.
Just no, I don't get it.
Your pictures everywhere, probably.
Have you guys seen this article about Twin Peaks being based on a Blake Edwards film? from the
Yeah, Collider article, right? The other day. I don't know if I agree with that.
Anyway, I just want to say,
60s. I
I
thought
think we should watch Boxing Helena as a tribute. So
Okay.
I would love to do. I would love to watch Cameron's.
I think
And
enough time
Warlock.
has gone by now to
And
celebrate
Warlock.
it. And also, I saw Warlock at the cinema.
No way. What? That's amazing. Yes. That's awesome.
They let anybody in back in those days, like in small town cinemas.
That's cool.
You know, I was going in like wearing a nappy. Well, I did wear a nappy until I was 21. So, in case I soiled myself whilst watching Warlock. It's the special effects in that, even at the time, you were like, "Oh, that's not very good."
Oh, when he's
But-
flying around, it's hilarious.
But it's kind of like, yeah, it's still fun though.
But it's still
It's
good,
similar
yeah.
special effects to in Highlander, I thought.
Yes, I agree.
And also, who's in that? Richard E. Grant.
Mm. Yep.
I don't know if you've ever seen Lemmy, the comedian making fun of Richard E. Grant. And at one point, Richard E. Grant blocked him on Twitter,
That's hilarious.
then unblocked him.
Mhm.
Because, he was doing that promotion for the Star Wars he was in. And he was like, I fist pump the air. This is everything you've ever wanted from a film. I'm so glad to be in it.
Jamie, I know I can Google it. I just thought we're a channel that covers, Twin Peaks related things, and he's in Jennifer's film. So, this is the first time hearing about it. So I was just wondering if there was any more details.
I will say it's very difficult to Google whilst we're live because
Okay.
my computer just doesn't allow it.
For any,
If I go on Google now, I just get this huge picture of like a kind of sort of just a
Remember?
black screen saying
Yeah.
"Welcome to the dark web," and I'm like,
Oh my
"What?
god! What are you doing
I
on the
didn't
dark?
sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this."
Okay.
Like, and then it's got like different categories, like illicit materials. I'm like, I didn't order any of this shit.
so
I have no memory of that. I just blacked out.
Mm.
So hey, I did see another film at the theater, guys.
Barbie.
For animation fans, and
Oh.
Johnny, I would
Elementals.
no.
I would recommend this to you, Johnny. I wanted to hate this movie.
I
Kinda.
wanted to so bad.
I wanted to so bad, but it was really raw, especially in real 3D.
Mhm.
Teenage Mutant.
Oh, Teenage Mutant. Yeah,
Really?
If you went to see that,
Okay.
yeah.
So cool.
It
I
was
do love the original Teenage
Bro.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This is one of the
It was
best
story
turtle
right.
movies you're ever gonna
Yeah.
see.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
What's it called? Mutant Power or something?
Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah.
My nephew said at the end it was like ape shit, but literally in the cinema there was people rioting in his theater, like ripping,
It was good.
It was really
That's awesome.
It brought-
like 8-year-olds like smashing each other over the head with like
The one
popcorn and
here in Mario. That's
Well.
it. Oppenheimer. That's it.
Ma-
Indy was
you know,
is
just
it
like,
good then? So
just
it's,
like
it's a good
Mario.
film.
just like Mario, they knocked it out of the park. But I mean, if you can get past the April O'Neil
like
change,
That's very hard.
ever,
But yes.
okay. And I did hear that originally Shredder was going to be,
No, Splinter.
Splinter was going to be gay,
Mm.
and they axed that, thank God. But
Okay. You literally, as Gary asked that, you answered his
I would have
question.
preferred. I would have
They
preferred it, to
nailed-
be honest. If
they,
I
they,
like seeing gay rats. But
with the original story, it was perfect.
they nailed the character. You know, I'm one of these people that likes the Michael Bay one with Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady.
I didn't mind those either.
This was better. This
yeah.
was better than that.
Yeah.
Maybe
was that because Shia LaBeouf was in it?
no.
He
But
was in one of them, right?
Oh,
But
he's
not
not
all
been
of
in
them.
any Turtles films.
No, wasn't he in? No, he wasn't. Shit, I'm mixing him up with
you
that
know,
other
it's
actor.
I'd say it's tied with the original. You know, it's a cool modern take kind of thing,
That's very good.
and just not nothing too like it's
Oh,
good for
perfect.
kids and things. You know,
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that.
Well, the original film was directed by Steve Bannon, who made the Take on Me video. So yeah,
Really?
Ah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
take on me.
so everything's very interrelated in all these different things. So yeah, I think like the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film though was probably the darkest one of them, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
like 1991 was it?
Better.
No, that's the second one.
That's
with
the
Mega
second one,
Shredder.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Where they go to
I mean,
Tokyo or what?
no, that's the third.
That's the third.
That's
Okay.
where they blew it.
That's where they blew it.
That's when they went totally apeshit. In the
Cheesy
film.
animatronics.
Yeah,
They cut back on the budget on that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
They were copying the cartoon too much, you know.
But
And,
yeah,
and you know,
like, this one knows to put in a lot of characters and do them correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's only an hour and 37 minutes, and you got to see it in 3D to get that full effect.
Yeah.
Of
yeah.
animation.
Run a little bit.
And it's really interesting animation. Like I've never seen a style quite like that. And
Yeah,
I think it worked well.
Looking city parts.
Yeah, it worked well.
slightly like rough hewn, isn't it? Sort of sketchy, slightly, but
Yeah, but in a good way.
but you know, very well done though. Yeah.
They felt like not real people, but they felt like character. You know, the character
3D,
built
yeah.
there. You know, in a
Yes.
good way.
It
Like,
progressed, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a bunch of
it wasn't
bullshit
just
jokes.
wasn't
all
just
movie.
gobbledygook
Yeah, I eat pizza and all that bullshit.
like
you know?
usual.
Hey, pizza.
They would have been better in smell-o-vision, and then they've got like
Oh, I'm
Right.
so
pizza
glad they
smells, and
abandoned
then also the
smell.
smell of the sewer. Like,
They
Right.
say
Maybe they go with pepperoni.
no, that's a good idea. Right?
they say it's made as much money.
Pipe
It is
in
until
the-
you watch,
pipe in the
until you
snow.
watch a horror movie or until you watch something that's really fucked up on
Yeah,
screen. Yeah.
the horror movie has straight sulfur in there for you.
Mm.
Yum yum.
They say that
Mhm.
this film has made as much as the first film made, and with the licensing right, it doesn't really matter if it makes a lot of money. So we're definitely going to see a sequel, and it might go straight to streaming with a show as well to follow in the same style. So
Okay, I'm glad they're still keeping it going.
get
You know?
used
That's
to it,
good.
you know.
Alright, there's a new generation to pick up on.
Seth
That's cool.
Rogen didn't totally blow it this time like he did with the Santa Claus thing.
That's good to hear because a lot was riding on it. Because if he blew this one, then no one was going to give him another chance for another thing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they nailed it, bro.
I mean,
Oh,
they
very
good.
backed off the Mario idea, kind of, and did it right. Yeah.
they did it
I mean, the animation movies are making more than almost anything right now out there. So fuck Marvel and all that. That shit's over with.
honestly, with Splinter's voice,
Yeah.
it's Jackie Chan, which is fine. But I could have used a little more reverence in his voice. But you know, other than that, that was just struck me as a little kind of unusual at first. You know, like
They
Mhm.
should have had Voltaire do one of the voices. I think
What are the he's very cartoony voice.
it wasn't actually Jackie Chan doing it, though, was it?
no, I believe it is.
Yeah.
You look it up. It's,
Oh, okay.
it's some famous person like
But,
that.
I mean,
Or is it the guy who was in that Pokemon movie? That oh no, you're right. It is Jackie Chan. Okay, yeah, you're right.
yeah.
yeah. So it is what he is. So it's not like it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay. Wow.
You
Well,
see,
he's got a good voice, really.
you see some
Right.
classic characters, you know.
I usually watch most Jackie Chan films for his amazing acting and dialogue proficiency. Like Police Story. I like all those films that he made in the 80s.
Police Story was good.
The end
That was a
with
good
him
one.
getting like really badly injured. At the
Yeah,
end, you're like,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Did you ever watch
he
the
just
scenes
crushed
on
his
that?
balls.
I know, my God. The poor guy, he
Well, no,
broke
not-
his back. He broke his pelvis on that going down the pole. That was he got electrocuted. They used double the wattage, so every time he broke a light, he was shocked. It was ridiculous. Poor guy.
No, I mean the films were just made.
But you know what? You have to
without
give
any.
their balls to the wall. They were just raw. I want to talk about raw. Like, let's just make a movie. And they threw their bodies on the line, and they did all those. It's incredible, actually. If you really think
Right,
about it.
yeah. He
Yeah.
kept falling
Well,
on stairs and all types of shit. Oh,
One of my
Yeah.
favorites of his from then was the Armor of God one, which is
Hmm.
it's like kind of Jackie Chan's Indiana Jones film, basically, and it's. I mean, he's not on a par with Indiana Jones by any
No,
means,
but
but it's the stunts in it though are very good.
got the vibe
I
though.
will say that.
Yeah, Voltaire saw Meg too. He said it was,
You know,
one of
and
his
it's all
favorite movies
real.
of the year.
Meg too? What?
Yeah,
Oh, Meg too, huh? Okay.
He says, I'm going to the cinema again because of this film.
he's watching. Yeah, he's going twice to see it.
And we saw it sat on the front row
Mm-hmm.
Ask
Mark
him-
loved it.
ask
with his
Mark
trousers.
Commode is always so. I can never. If I was a betting man on him, I can never bet which way his opinions would go. I never know where Mark Commode is going. You know, so he
Are you-
loves Meg too. Wow.
Okay. Oh, I thought you said Voltaire when Meg 2 choice.
Well, it is directed by, Ben Wheatley, who's a really good director, but some people have said the film feels a bit like Ben Wheatley maybe directed a third of it, and then the rest was done by like
Yeah.
Chinese bots. Or
Yeah, I
something,
heard it was like
because it's-
Chinese propaganda. Yeah, a lot of it. I heard.
The sad thing,
yeah.
the sad thing this week for me, or last week really, is I'm the biggest Disney fan, and I love films based on rides like Tomorrowland and things like this.
And Snow White and the Seven
Hey, man,
Dwarfs.
The Haunted Mansion looks so garbage on these trailers that,
Atrocious.
and I'm their number one fan who would go see it, but I
James
can't
was actually talking about that for real. You were going to watch it, right, James, or was that just
because
a joke?
of the writers they hired.
What, My Haunted Mansion? Oh,
Or
The
the-
Haunted Mansion,
The
sorry.
Haunted Mansion, yeah.
I spoke about it. I said that the advert was like just totally unremarkable. It looks like
Yeah,
something almost
exactly.
straight to DVD. Well, no,
Yeah.
straight to Disney, basically.
It's something we could all watch, knowing what it's going to be, and then we could at least discuss it afterwards. you
It's breaking my heart, bro.
Yeah, but it's like Ghostbusters 2 was on TV a year earlier, and I was like watching it, and it's like
Mhm.
it's just not a good film, honestly.
Wait, back up. You're talking about the original Ghostbusters too?
Don't show
Yeah, it's not a good film at all. It's like Ghostbusters 1 is a classic. Ghostbusters 2 was just it's a
I like-
disaster.
I
It's
like
got
it.
like the
Like it.
It's
Oh,
got the
you're
Bobby
breaking my
Brown
heart.
song coming in non-stop. It's like got all these scenes where
Love it, James.
they've got that ooze and stuff. It's just the
I
museum stuff.
love
None
that
of it
film.
is
I have
none of
such
it
a
is genuinely
nostalgia.
scary. So
No, but it's such a fun watch. You compare Ghostbusters 2 to any other modern movie that even tries to do that subject. It's
It's a horror movie.
A little more family friendly than the first one.
yeah, and the first one's always going to be the classic, just like how the first Exorcist is always going to be the first Exorcist. You know what I mean? Like,
Right,
Sure.
right.
well, I think with Ghostbusters though, like Ghostbusters 2 is 5 years later,
yeah.
and honestly, I just don't think it stands up to the first film at all. It's very
Oh, no, I agree with you on that. But it
first
doesn't make it a bad film, but even though it
first
doesn't
40
compare,
minutes-
I'm not saying it's a bad film per se,
Mm.
but it's lacking a lot of the qualities that made the first one so good. It's much
Yeah.
less. It doesn't have the kind of raunchy humor that the first one has.
But they always
It
said that
doesn't
movie
have-
was kind of like lightning in a bottle, right? That one was just like everything was done.
No, the second one is dumbed down. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more
But-
like Ghostbusters the animated series.
Mhm.
I'll tell you this, James. I was a
That's a
kid.
good point, actually. Yeah.
I was a kid in the theater when it came out, and Janos coming down as a woman scared the hell out of me. I'll
He
tell
was terrified to this day. He's still terrified. When he's in the hallway with his eyes glow, I'm like, oh my god.
Ooh, yeah.
you.
Well, maybe it has some good moments in it for sure, but I just think the problem with the film is it just doesn't all hang together, and
He snatched the baby up.
it's
That was
very
scary.
dated. Whereas the
Mhm.
first one
That was
seems
scary
more
when he grabbed.
timeless.
It was scary when he
Yeah,
grabbed
I agree with that.
the shot when he finally flies away. Even as a kid, that kind of gave it away as like, oh, this is not as serious as when he first came up. You know what I mean?
First, yes. So that's the problem.
Seeing him fly away, it kind of ruins the effect of the whole. They should have just cut the scene with him grabbing
the kid.
the kid. You know,
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but what the festival nanny, like a ghost nanny, gets it, and she has this like stretch arm come out that looks
with your face.
That's
it just
Janos.
looks together.
Yeah.
It's not scary. How are you saying? How is that scary?
Think of when you were a child.
Because when you were
Yeah. For me, it's nostalgia because I remember when I saw it.
Janos's accent was so off-putting that it made it like jarring when you saw him as an old lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Creepy.
Oh, I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
As a kid,
Okay, well, anyway, I mean, I don't have anything else, to really say about Ghostbusters 2 other than I just didn't think it was like, living up to the first one. It's a missed opportunity.
True. Yeah, that I do agree with you. Yeah.
I think as a youngster, especially, I was like, why is there this big painting, like, with this guy talking and stuff? This is not scary for me.
Because he's the Scourge of Carpathia, bro.
Yeah, and they're redoing that too. The new Ghostbusters is going to do that again.
He's from a time when, I mean,
I don't think they'll repeat that exactly. Come on.
You know what I mean?
that was the window they used back
Where have you heard this, Johnny? Come on. You've
The
been
rumors of
actually on the film set again or something. I know you
not again.
snuck onto you went onto the film set of what was it?
After
Meg
that?
2.
Oh, Meg 2, yeah.
Oh no, I mean, the new one I think will probably be quite good, but apparently they're filming some of it in the UK, as you told me, didn't you? So but how are they going to have the painting come alive and stuff again? I mean,
probably,
It's perfect
practical these days, so it'll be some CGI garbage, I know them.
someone playing like an old arcade game there.
That was awesome.
We have an arcade game.
That's awesome.
I don't know about
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah, look at that, James. Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Go on.
I've got my screen small, so
About $1,000, Johnny, if you want one. It does virtual pinball with tilt.
Very cool. Yeah.
Like the tilt is beautiful. It
Move
controls
the machine.
the ball like very minutely. It's not that cheap tilt like on Wii or
Yeah.
I mean that's nothing compared to Voltaire. He's got at least 20 real pinball machines
when I
in his bedroom.
when I add a $600 computer to it, I'll be able to play the Twin Peaks pinball machine, and I'll show you guys.
What about the new Twin Peaks game that's coming out on the 16th?
What?
What? What's that?
What's that?
Well, there's a trailer for it, and it actually looks genuinely okay. So,
If
Really?
it's the one James, I think, showed me. Yeah, somebody made like a PS1 graphic game of Twin Peaks.
Oh,
Bro, you're getting me jazzed.
I know. When I saw that picture too, I was like,
Yeah. they're not able to sell it, obviously, because
you
it's
get on a
like
computer or something.
I think
for
that's
free,
just the
though.
deal they've made.
Yeah. Well,
But they're using Twin Peaks music and stuff like that in it. So I think they would have got some permission, but they're basically, you can't sell it because
That's on my radio.
there'll probably be 5,000 people at least buying it, and that would make you $50,000. So
I wonder why
you could still make money from it, couldn't you?
I wonder why they
Sure.
just don't pay them for a license. Pay David Lynch since he owns it now for a license, and then you could make money off of it.
Is it that easy? Does he full out?
so.
Does he full out own the whole thing, or is it
Well,
like half-time
we
with
reported on him going to court about it, didn't we?
I don't think I was.
I think Lynch and Frost would just say no. We don't want to get involved in making a Twin Peaks game, but you can do it
But
and
James,
sell it for nothing, basically.
James, didn't you report that he went to court so that Frost doesn't technically own the characters now? He does. David owns them all together, like him alone. Didn't you? Am I? This another reality, or did I not hear that?
No, it was just basically that
The Queen.
they're taking ownership of
That
Twin
was-
Peaks
that was
Productions.
going
It's
off on
still him.
Ghostbusters.
That's what I
Oh my
mean.
God.
Yeah. Well, that's who you would.
Well, we finished that discussion now, so he's a bit late.
Yeah.
Context.
Don't pander to Davin, please.
Sorry, it just caught my attention. I think Ghostbusters.
I'm still bummed that I wasn't able to play the Twin Peaks VR thing on my PlayStation. You know, that was
At least it's still out there. Like once you get your computer, you probably can get an emulator or something. You know, and just, you know what I mean. But
I just don't know how to run Steam, even like to be
We gotta
honest.
buy a Steam Deck.
Do you, Johnny?
no, because I'm not a PC. I tried to look into it, right? Because I'm a Mac person. I don't have a PC, but
Yeah.
it's complicated. Yeah.
Do you want to watch the trailer for this game anyway?
Absolutely, bro.
You give your honest reaction. Here we go.
Let's see this.
Hey, what's up, Doc? It's Laura, in case you haven't guessed. It's Thursday the 23rd, and I'm so bored.
Beats, bro. It's perfect.
Very cool. Very Resident Evil.
Man. Coffee. And then cool. What?
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
I wonder if you could convert it to VR.
Wow.
Demo.
Very cool. 2 days. I'm gonna be looking for that.
That looks amazing. Oh, shit. It's like when you look at the light
I'll try to
bulb.
do a live stream or something. Playing that. That'd be awesome.
Wow, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
like live stream is
I think-
actually raw. Yeah, it would be.
it'll be best when the full version is available.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Benson Cooper, would you recommend getting Deadly Premonition? That's the one game I haven't played yet. Alan Wake is amazing.
no, I never played that, but I heard it's like
I heard it's very close to Twin Peaks.
Peaks rip-off kind of thing.
Well, in the world of, you know.
What do you have to just play that with the computer, or you got to own a PlayStation 1 or something?
I think it's in. So I think you have to have probably the emulator that can play
Emulate?
PlayStation games, and then
Yeah,
you can play
okay.
this. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it looks cool, bro. I mean,
Very cool. Yeah.
I wonder if some of Cameron's lore will be mixed in there. You know?
It will be primarily based on his story, actually. No,
Are you sure?
Well, you mean Annie? And I mean, obviously, the Annie stuff and all that is probably it could feature in some way if it goes to the end of season 2. But the way that looks is it's so kind of based around season 1 and stuff. But we'll see.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Cameron, imagine if you made a game version of his movie. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I noticed the scene in there where they're in the hospital. He says the girl is that Rhonda. Is that supposed to be?
Phantom Cooper says it's very wonky. I don't know what that means, but he's talking about Alan Wake 2.
It's old school looking, that's for sure. You know, I long for an Unreal Engine
Cool
5.
Phantom. Yeah, I can buy it on the Microsoft
I
Store.
deleted Davrin's comments because I just think it's like, why just attack something as soon as when it's not even come out? Like, give it a chance.
Yeah, I noticed that too, Dan.
know,
we were talking about
He's
Ghostbusters,
such a loyal viewer, dude.
and you hated on it. We were talking
Like
about
he's saying Ghostbusters is shit as well. Like everything's basically shit. Maybe have you heard of something called serotonin? You need more of it going around. You know, it's,
there was somebody recently on a comedy show who said they were.
it's so tiresome if someone comes
produce
into a chat and says
serotonin.
everything is rubbish. You know.
Yeah,
No, but I'm serious. I do think it's like some people are addicted to going online and basically just saying everything's shit, you know. And I mean, Mandela Man, I can tell he's been out, hiking. That's a good thing to do. So,
My friend actually got murdered.
well,
Okay, what? Oh,
at
shit.
least going to the cinemas.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, fuck.
Like there was this girl that I had a crush on like 15, 20 years ago when I was watching my grandparents' house. I used to have these parties.
What?
They were gone for months, and there was this girl that I had a crush on, years ago. And I didn't see her for years. And then she kind of became friends again with one of my friends, and she didn't like him. She liked me, but she was kind of like a crackhead, and she couldn't, like, I even took her in here for 3 days so she could quit dope, and she couldn't quit the crack. She's like, had to get it fixed. So she left. And like, then she always wanted to come back. So she kept knocking on the door. Like, I want to come back, but my grandma was like, I fucking gave her a chance, like, I'm not dealing with this shit at 86 years old. We've done enough for enough drug addicts at this point.
I would imagine
this girl's
that's
name,
kind of old enough to know. Like
at their
surely
age,
at like 66.
I can't really put through that, even though I'd like the
Yeah,
girlfriend,
I agree.
because I don't have one. So anyway, she kept knocking on the window, like, have you convinced them to let me back? I'm like, no. And she kept coming back. And then like a week and a half ago, she's like, I need to go to the store. Can you drive me to the store? And I took her to get groceries for about 3 hours. And she's like, I regret that I never, like, I should have been with you years ago, and stuff like that. But she had 3 kids with another guy, and she was married. And when she broke up with her husband, or he left her for another lady, that's when she became a drug addict, So anyway, I go to get her groceries, and she's like, I really wish I could come back to your house. And I'm like, yeah, but where can I take you with these groceries? So it was like to like a bad crack house, in a bad neighborhood. I felt so bad, but like, still when I took her home, she bought a rock off that guy, and she kept smoking. I'm like, why are you even smoking that shit? You're off dope, you don't need this shit anymore. And she looked like The Walking Dead, bro, to be honest with you at this point. So it's just bummed me out. We got a burrito at a taco thing when I brought her to the store, and I'm like, that's a good burrito. I'll go back for that burrito, right? So like a couple days, like 2 days ago, my friend calls me, because she was staying at his at one point, and I brought her to my house because she liked me better, but then she blew that. So she also blew being at my friend's house. So in a way, I feel like this is all my fault for not being a 43-year-old man who could tell my grandma, like, no, she's going to stay no matter what. But then I feel bad for my
come on, that's ridiculous. It's not your fault. Nothing to do with you, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, that is
Thanks for saying that.
You did the best you could. And
I tried, bro. I did. But,
she's like someone who's,
she even said to me, can I live in your car?
really in a difficult position. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She's even, when my grandpa's in a bed in the living room, like, we're taking care of him hardcore style. So yeah, it's just a lot of shit going on.
This 24-hour caregiver.
So my friend, my buddy calls or texts me like, yeah, she got pushed out of a car by some other probably crackhead, dude, and cracked her skull and is dead. Yeah, she died. Like, it's fucking, I don't know. You guys are some of my only friends, so it's just a heavy thing.
well, no, I've seen people like that around. If you go into rough places, you see like all sorts, don't you? And so,
well, yeah, like you guys,
get people who are drug addicts here, and
you guys know I was an addict. I've been off the shit for 7 years, so I feel bad that I couldn't like do more for that person, especially since
you back 7 years.
Like, honestly, a year and a half ago or whenever I brought her in here to get clean, she looked better then. But the last, I thought, oh, she definitely overdosed, but it's like she got murdered You know what I mean? Some dickhead pushed her out of the
Yeah.
car.
It wasn't like she self-inflicted.
Well,
She has 3 kids.
it might not have been intentional or exactly intentional, you know.
Yeah, one that's 17 to like one that's 9, all girls, and it's like really it's got to be crazy for them, you know, because they didn't even get to see her a lot to begin with because of her lifestyle and shit.
It's just very chaotic, you know. And like, I mean, why anyone would be pushed out of a car, a woman? I mean, that's just
Right.
you know, these people are just like so out of it, presumably. But
Because she lived on the streets, she had to be at the whims of like men who would let her live in their house. You know what I mean?
As long as they
Bouncing
keep
from
shit
couch
over.
to couch or bed to bed, and yeah, doing all, you know.
we in the coffee time chat on Facebook. I mean, we've always had lots of different characters, and there's always been something of a drug kind of thing going, drug theme at times. But I mean, Voltaire would get a bit like pissed off with it at times, and you know,
Well,
understandably as well. But
But
because you know, when everyone's discussing one certain thing, then it can become tiresome for other people. But you know, it's like if we all discuss drinking or something. It's just
no, I'm just that's what's going on in my world. You know, I haven't talked to you guys.
no. I'm not saying that, like you shouldn't talk about it now or anything. I'm just saying like it's quite difficult, especially on Facebook, for instance, to have a chat where everyone talks about, you know, films, because it is a bit, you know.
There's
But we managed to do it on video, so
this disclaimer for everybody at home. It's just there's a difference between marijuana and hallucinogens that might open your mind, and crack, meth, and heroin, which is going to turn you into a walking zombie, especially since most of it is fentanyl and xylazine these days. So you can't be too careful, and everybody needs to stay off that. You know, that's why I'm. Xylazine is causing.
it's like the public service announcement that Pee Wee Herman did about crack cocaine, and
Yeah. That's Chicago for
that
you.
xylazine doesn't have a detox method. When people even have their opiates still, they're withdrawing because they don't.
Did you ban and then unban Davern within minutes? Did that just happen?
his comments are always just they
It's
sound
funny,
like some
the
kind of
word banned has
like
no
a hysterical person. Like, I should play point and click games. Why?
James, you
I
should.
don't like it.
You got to play StarCraft, Warcraft, and any other craft you can find.
Yeah, like to call a game an atrocity. Like, I think you kind of need to get some level of
Yeah, you
reality.
got to realize some people like, you know, old school.
It's not
graphics.
aimed
Everyone
at
has their
people
own.
who are like sitting around playing Full Throttle from 1992 or something, or Monkey Island games. Basically, it's not aimed at that. It's aimed at Twin Peaks fans. You complete douche waffle.
If you're into Silent Hill, if you're into like everything that was inspired by Twin Peaks that people made later, and then now it's coming full circle. That's what it's for, you know.
Hell, Johnny, I used to play the ColecoVision version that somebody made.
Very cool. Wow.
It's just a little bit of fun. You don't have to come down on it with the like weight of some kind of
I agree with James. Yeah.
you know, an elephant on it.
Mhm.
Just like get a sense of like some
Get
kind
in
of
on the conversation. and
reality
say,
in your life.
agree with us and be like, yeah, you're right. Nice. Or something, you know.
No, I don't mean that. I'm not saying everyone should have to agree with what I'm saying or anything like that.
I know.
I just think get a sense of proportion. That game is not aimed at like people who are obsessive about PS1 games or something, is
Oh
it?
no,
It's-
but the whole ARG thing's going on, and like everybody's loving that nostalgia shit right now. So it's kind of
Yeah.
nailing it with that.
I think it's just a bit of fun. I mean, after all, it's
Yeah.
free. So if something's given to you free, that's like saying
That's a
this is
good point,
shit and
James,
stamping on it, basically.
No, same,
Like, putting
gotta
it,
think
putting it in the
people-
toilet.
Yeah.
same thing with Cameron.
It's true. They put their time and effort, you know, their life, their hours of their own life into it. You know, that alone is something.
It's like, yeah, it's a little bit like the initial reaction to The Secret History by Twin Mark Frost. People were like,
yeah.
oh, no, this is no good. I don't like it.
Right away without
Well,
even
don't
giving
buy it
a
then.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We went out and bought it. So
Mhm.
therefore, why?
The books, dude, the Twin Peaks books.
It ended up being excellent. I thought they were
It was the
excellent.
best part of season 3, you know, for me. I don't know. like how it related back and forth.
Well, it's definitely part of it. I wouldn't necessarily.
Oh.
I wouldn't necessarily say it is part of the return, but it's
It's
kind of alongside it, isn't it? So,
Yeah. Hey, Phantom Cooper, I appreciate that last comment, but I feel like if I owned my own home, I would have been able to bring her in and give her more time to quit the rock cocaine, and stuff like that. But because I live with my grandparents, I'm between a rock and a hard place, and she had to die because of that kind of.
Well, it's a real story that happened to you, and obviously you're a sensitive person, and it impacts on you in a serious way. So I think, I think we all appreciate that, really, and can understand it. It's quite a difficult story for anybody to sort of react to, though, isn't it? Sometimes, for sure.
I hear you.
Not because it's too heavy or anything like that. And I don't. On here, you said that I would always want to do I keep everything light, but
well, we're internet personalities. I think we can be open with people sometimes.
I think with me, I actually struggle with, some people think, no, the thing I struggle with being almost too
open, right?
Like I'm too sensitive and too loving towards people, and that people think that I'm one of the, really great guy, and it's hard sometimes being that good.
Okay. This guy's talking himself up. Okay.
I've always got the short.
It's just a serious. So it's just.
Why does it have the bald cap on the wig? Why is it okay? So you can put a hat on. Okay, I get it.
It's supposed to be a bald thing, but it doesn't quite work properly. So I use it like this now.
It makes sense. Actually, looks weird.
You look a bit like Einstein and Oppenheimer there. The cap on.
This is the intellectual look.
You make a video with staring up at the.
I'm actually basing this on how Davrin looks whilst he's sitting typing.
Hey, James, I have to admit though, your editing skills are amazing, bro. When you edit,
I've always said that. I've always said he's a really
can't lie
good
about that one. Those little edits you do are fucking masterpieces, bro. For real. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Oh no, yeah, for real. Like
right.
your standing trait is like fucking editing, bro. For real. Like that shit's a.
No, I'm actually trying to make a short film, which is going to be based on Amityville horror and stuff.
Oh, sweet! You're doing that.
Really?
But it's almost impossible to do in a way because obviously I've got very limited resources and things. But
But with limited.
I'll still try and do something basically.
Well, hey, if you're
I'll try to send a video of me walking through a door or closet, and then you can, if you want to continue the scene of you walking out of that, and now it's into your world. If you want to do a cut and paste.
If you want help writing it,
But can you actually film in HD?
Yeah, I can get a camera and stuff for that. Yeah.
If you need.
I think basically it's supposed to be Amityville, but with aliens. And
yeah.
I was going to have the main character played by me, obviously, be called.
Right. Thank you.
Who's the first man on the moon?
Nobody even.
Neil Armstrong.
At all, really.
Yeah. If you go Neil A, what is that backwards?
Alien.
You're right.
Neil A.
Oh, I think
so. Basically, he writes his name on a window, like in Watcher in the Woods, Neil A, and then someone sees it backwards and goes, "Jesus Christ."
That's good.
And I can play both characters, one just me, then I've got this wig on. I can do it with another character reacting. I'll be reacting to the alien. I'll have to do it in English accent.
Actually,
what the bloody hell's going on here?
Cool idea.
Well,
with this, that wig makes it more scary.
They're gonna the DVD no matter what, as long as it has to do with aliens. No, they
what thing to happen?
No matter what we make, it'll go on, or no matter what he makes, it'll go on.
It's going on there.
So, are you playing Ron DeFeo?
I don't even know who that is.
That's the real kid from the real Amityville.
No, I'm not going to do that.
That would be
I'm not going to actually
amazing.
base myself on the guy who was based on who shot his family or something.
Oh my
That would be
God.
just too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah.
would be another. I would basically be another guy, and it's supposed to be.
You're in the house.
I'm obsessed with that whole thing.
Well, hey
And
man,
going online, looking about Amityville stuff and all that, and then it becomes,
Hey.
whatever it becomes as a short
hey,
film.
hey James, you know that they said that Mr. DeFeo, Ron's father, he was involved with like the mob. Like you could work all that. You could play the dad.
How can I bring in the mob into the
We just
somewhere in the East Midlands of England?
we write a script, man. You
Yeah.
pick up the phone and you're talking to the mob people. Like you play the dad.
Maybe that's a possibility, actually.
Dude, I'm telling you, nobody ever does anything with the original family.
Nobody's creative enough to fit
Ben from the.
here, you know.
We used to do this whole thing where we took as Fontaine, which is a kind of Fontaine, if you get that kind of Newgate beans. And it's like
That's a British
joke.
Yeah.
It's not even made up by me. It's made up by
No.
someone else. And Newgate beans are these kind of cheap beans that you can buy here. I don't know what's funny about it. It's just the idea that like kind of mafia types would be interested in mundane things like beans. But
And a reason was why dude was like all screwed up and shit when he moved there. For that energy kind of brought on the Amityville like embodiment towards his life.
Some people say it was
You know,
drug deals
something.
gone bad. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
you know, whatever. We can work an angle. It's always possible. You know.
Or that the father embezzled.
I actually think the whole thing was caused by the net and its impact on society in the past and
I'm gonna have
and
to
in the future. Because
I'm gonna have to watch.
I don't mean the film specifically with Sandra Bullock, but that partly is part of it. Yes.
I mean the real net.
No, I mean like literally the film The Net that would feature in it as well.
Not the Sandra Bullock.
Because you don't have to make everything completely literal in films. It would be like the character would also have an obsession with that film as well as Amityville, the first one, but then also became overly obsessed with Amityville 2, The Possession. But I can't start recreating a scene where I sexually abuse my own sister, can I? That would be
I didn't say
taking art too far.
I didn't say that. I said maybe something.
Sorry, yeah, I know you didn't say it, but I'm just saying I did contemplate it.
Let's say there is a mob aspect, but then aliens. Aliens were meant to.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad.
Okay, how about this? Aliens were meant to pick up the souls of ghosts that had died at the house.
Yeah.
They failed to do it. They failed to reincarnate those people. So that's where where you could bring in the alien aspect, bro. They failed to reincarnate.
Well, I think aliens
So they're coming back. They're coming
are
back.
very difficult to make as special effects and stuff, but
No, but
when
I
you think of the first
you
film,
can do it all. You don't need special effects. You do it all with dialogue, bro.
Dialogue,
Like unsaid things.
oh, definitely. But
Darkness of the Woods.
you remember in the first Amityville film, how they had the two red eyes, and it was so basic as a special effect. Well,
Two red eyes out in the woods. Done. Alien aspect done. And
Hmm.
writing
yeah,
dialogue.
but it doesn't look like. Yeah, but it doesn't look like. In that first film, it doesn't even look like, say, there's a kind of beast or something out there. It just literally looks like two red lights, and then they're like reacting to it like this, kind of, like.
There's probably some really good public UFO.
Jesus Christ!
That's how they reacted. Yeah.
Like, and then they walk into a room. That room's full of flies. Shit, hell.
James, there's probably a lot of public good UFO footage that you could.
Well, I heard there was an attack in Peru recently.
Well,
they were saying it was an
they
alien
already-
attack.
Someone made this actual footage of
Attack and maybe
this
even more.
area from the sky, and I think I'll ask the person if I can use it, and if they say no, I'll just use it anyway.
Yeah,
Not really, I mean, but it's
Just put it in black and white in reverse.
it's like they're never going to find out though, are they?
No, I
Because
know.
it's such a kind of niche. Well, it's not niche, but it's sort of it's for a project being done around basically Amityville, fans.
Oh, I know.
And, I mean,
I was on the
yeah,
brought that up. Yeah, I remember.
Cameron was like talking about this one thing that's called Amityville Glory Hole, which is that's a completely different area.
That was the first thing he brought up when he
It's
came.
a little bit of a different genre.
I don't really understand how that relates to Amityville, but
Wasn't there a picture and everything? Mm.
it's just funny when Gary
like the
starts
house
going
with
on
the
about
fence.
Derby security and stuff. It's just like everywhere I go, like at the bus station, there's a guy doing security today, and he just went up to where I was sitting. No, it was yesterday actually, and he went and just sort of put this fob onto just something on a like the glass on or plastic on a bus shelter, and it's like, what's he doing? They just go around checking the area, and then he lifted up the gritting thing, gritting salt and all that. And
Well, I'm sure your people from
but it's
Iceland
like,
are the same.
especially because the things Gary keeps saying, I just keep imagining
hilarious.
like there's no bomb in there. But this guy was so laid back. He was literally like just totally chilled, and then leaned on this kind of metal barrier, just looking at all the buses, and it was just so
Gary saying the movie
the
should have
opposite
been
of undramatic.
with a drone shot of Derby with haunting music like the beginning of Cannibal Holocaust. Wow. It's like you should hover over where you live. You're standing there, you look up. The music.
Hey, John, I did see about those Peruvian attack. I mean, isn't that something?
It's pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can everybody now just give some prizes or something, or cans of Coke or something to Davrin because he's made a positive comment? So,
Oh well, here's
this,
a round of applause for you, Davin.
thank you, and it's made my night. It's 9 p.m. tonight. I think immediately after this, I will go and have a cold shower and then lie in bed thinking about your comment, Davrin. Well, I get a bit heated up when I read Davrin's comments, if you know what I mean. Not well, no. That was a joke, by the way.
In the corner, the damn good coffee, that logo looks like it's on a pizza. I'm just gonna say.
I know it's actually like a kind of golden
Yeah, it does.
something, but it doesn't quite work, does it?
It reminds me of pizza always.
It looks like yeah.
It's okay because you've been talking about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja
That's true.
Turtles,
Yeah.
It looks like a calzone. Yeah.
which were called in the 80s here. We had to put it with them
Hero.
being called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
can't
because
believe
in
that.
case the British youth could not be trusted to suddenly become ninjas overnight.
The song-
Although
this
I
is-
had friends who decided to make throwing stars out of industrial razor blades that his dad had in his
Wow.
garage, which was like, when I saw that, I was like,
That's-
this has gone a bit far now.
Yeah. Oh my god. That
Hey,
literally
James.
take your eye out.
James, I got an idea. What if you had a scripted?
Well, yeah, it didn't. It luckily like that didn't happen, but yeah.
James, what if you
Sorry.
had a scripted caller that called into the show from Peru and gave like an account of what's happening there, and you showed like the pictures that are, because there's some of the clearer pictures. I don't know if they're
Well, I don't know how. I suppose I would have to go on Facebook and like look into
I was gonna say
UFO
making
groups
contact with Peru.
and then find someone from that area and then say, do you want to come on this video and talk about? That's quite a good idea, actually.
yeah.
Because I think if I don't take the subject seriously, then really I won't be doing. It'll just end up being another one of my videos where people say, "Well, you did a good job with the editing, but it makes no sense whatsoever." You know.
Well,
I mean,
I expect so, as all your videos have some kind
no, but like that guy you like from who's been to Derbyshire and goes around the country looking at different kind of
Paul Cook, yeah.
caves and all sorts. You know, I mean, he makes a really good effort with his videos, and it does pay off. I mean, to be fair, if I could, I would be making videos as professionally as that. But you know, you have to find a real subject matter. So.
You live in a real interesting town, I'll tell you that much. Like from what I see on his channel.
Well, probably you mean more like the county, I imagine. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to come
yeah,
on.
yeah. There's a lot of good scenery in like the Peak District, as it's called. So, and then we literally have like the Dark Peak and the White Peak.
Very cool.
It's
So I
great.
mean,
Some of the ancient buildings that are underground are unbelievable.
well, some of my, like I have a friend who said said that where we grew up and everything was like Twin Peaks, and I was like, oh, come on now. You know,
Oh, hey, man.
but when you think back on it, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
there's
yeah.
these eccentric characters everywhere. Like there was a guy who used to sell papers outside the shop, and everybody in the school called him Rubberneck, and he'd have his small friend with him, and this guy, and they called him Rubberneck because he had a prominent kind of neck, or like it was just insane.
Wow.
Like they called one teacher Cardboard Cutout, and he found out, and he got quite upset.
Cardboard cutout. That's hilarious.
I'm not joking.
That's so funny.
Yeah, like
Oh my god.
Think
because
about
it's sort of like saying that he's
He's
just sort of
stiff,
stood
right?
there and not doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, just stiff and just there. Yeah, that's hilarious.
I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. I think children can say the weirdest things. So
Because it's more observational.
yeah, I think
think
I
about
think Amityville 2 is too like difficult to kind of imitate, and I wouldn't want to try and. You know, I always think of that scene where he's like the camera goes over the top and round, and Rob Ager has done a video about that, saying it's one of the greatest horror film scenes or something, which is probably true in many ways. But I do think that film is a bit.
my brother Brian would have dreams about the old man who came and knocked on the door for years, nightmares where he would wake up and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's
The old man who knocked a what?
What's that?
What?
What do you say?
I
The
said
old man.
no. I said my brother. Yeah, you know the old man that comes up and knocks on the door. Or am I thinking of Poltergeist now?
Yeah, our other grandpa.
I get the two.
You mean in Poltergeist, not Amityville?
Yeah, okay. Getting the
In Poltergeist 2, you mean mainly, but
yeah.
James is frozen in like
Yeah.
it was like
It's so similar.
Halloween the neck pin.
They're such similar.
it's sort of the same kind of time period as a whole. I mean, these films were all.
I used to get them.
I think there's been a slight problem with the connection or something. That's all.
The audio's fine. It sounds great.
You know,
It's all right now, but yeah.
your area has a lot of like really ancient myths associated with it. If you think about like Sherwood Forest and Robin
For
Hood.
sure. If I was there, I'd be. Oh my god! I feel like I was living in.
I mean, how far are you from Glastonbury there, James?
Right, you got the medieval like right around.
Well, that's the other end of the country. That's in the south. So,
Is it? Oh, okay.
I
mean,
mean,
it looks like-
there all the time.
I mean, we have places like Alton Towers, for instance, which is a big theme park. You could get there kind of on the bus quite easily now. You'd probably find that quite interesting because it literally was an old park that you could go in and sort of wander around, like the gardens and stuff. But then it has all this haunted stuff now as well. The haunted mansion. Well, it's not that haunted mansion. It's something else like that.
Mhm. That's very cool.
As well as like kind of hair-raising rides, one of which somebody fell off and lost half a leg. Or I don't
Oh
know.
my god!
Videos about it. It looks like it's like, yeah.
Lost half a leg. Oh my god.
I think you're talking about the cathedral, Gary. It is actually a cathedral because that's why Derby's called a city. So, but probably, but it is a big building for sure. That's a good thing to say. It is a big building.
Hey, I just want to.
It's impressive. That's all I'll say.
I just want to say, my heart goes out to all the people in Maui, and it's pretty obvious that they're not letting any videos from civilians on the ground be
I
on.
haven't seen any. I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're controlling every aspect
Yeah,
of the
that
story,
one video, that one big.
and just like in Paradise, California, when that big fire happened
Mm.
and houses burned, people died, but trees,
I have seen people wandering about in a couple of videos, to be honest.
trees that
On the news, right?
trees that were in between those
Well,
houses
else would I say it?
burned.
Well, we're saying on YouTube, there's no actual like firsthand. Oh, look, right now this is burning down as we
They're
speak.
controlling every aspect of this story because just like Paradise, California, a laser did come down.
I think this fire was so intense that it burnt through steel, through
That's what I'm
metal. So
Yeah,
there's no way somebody can stand there filming it whilst that's happening, can they?
As we know from the World Trade Center, fire doesn't melt steel easily,
right,
right?
right.
Okay.
Yeah, but that means that this is actually the worst the worst national disaster
This isn't,
after
bro. This isn't.
Pompeii.
This is an active auroral research program, like firing of a weapon is what I'm telling you.
Direct energy
A
weapon.
directed energy weapon. You can look up the
There
patent.
you go, here's the number.
I have
Let's
the
check it out.
I have the patent right here, number if you want it. It's
I'm just going to get some water anyway.
all right. Yeah, the patent for everybody is under W0200602-426S-A1. It's a directed energy weapon that they figured this out on TV a few years ago on the History Channel when
You talking like a pulse weapon from like in space, like in Gears of War?
yeah, Johnny, you know the scientist.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah.
Okay.
You know the redheaded scientist that's working at Skinwalker Ranch, Travis Scott.
Yeah.
He was sent around the country for the History Channel to research Tesla's papers that were lost.
For his death ray, right? Yeah. For his
They figured out that death ray.
Yeah, they were shooting it into a concrete bridge.
They first built a tower in Texas.
Ooh.
You could look that up.
Interesting.
I think it's on Aaron Dyke and Melissa Dyke's channel on YouTube. They first showed the Tesla tower after it was built.
Yeah,
it just appeared there kind
you
of.
can look up the most recent season of Skinwalker. It's finally basically, you know.
Oh, this thing is getting crazy.
Yeah. Really nuts.
It's
they have like
really
a metallic ore tunnel going through the mountain, like on top of a burial site where the Indian. And they're even shooting the Indian ceremony chants through a lake that puts the song into the whole fucking mountainside.
Oh, wow.
They had these fucking things coming out of the sky, taking a certain pattern through the mountain. And when they did LiDAR through the mountain, there's giant, like every kind of element of metallic.
Selenium worth a fortune.
Going through the whole mountain in the route that the balls of light, they go through the mountain and they come out the bottom like nothing.
They got footage of that.
They followed this LiDAR metallic content through the mountain, and it's the exact road the light takes. So what type of technology is fucking that?
Yeah.
With
true.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I made none of that up. I couldn't even make that up if I tried.
Before James comes back, when the Paradise Fire happened, there were leaked videos of the lasers and trees bursting from the inside out. We've already seen those leaked yesterday from this Maui thing.
What kind of fire is that?
Okay, so
hellfire? What the fuck?
Yeah, because you got to think you're on a highway and then you're seeing this fire. How is it encroaching over? It's weird. I would have to see it in live to understand it.
So basically, when Paradise happened, Trump was overseas. It was during his administration, 2018, and he was meeting with the Saudis and the rest of the New World Order over there. And I believe there's a picture of him showing, holding a ball of the earth, showing, and I think he showed them what we would do to our own citizens to warn them not to attack us, to show them we had the capability of this super weapon. But I don't know what the reason is for this Maui thing. Maybe a hunter distraction. I don't know.
Yeah, right. What's Hunter Biden? Bullshit.
James. Just a heads up. Yeah, it's some crazy.
Let's. Anyway, I think we're going to end up ending soon, or unless anyone wants to talk about any other things, any other films and stuff. So.
Have you been watching any of the Secret Invasion or anything like that?
What I watched is Good Omens season 2, which was pretty good. A little more woke than usual, but he kind of always was like that, so it's to be expected. But that was pretty good.
That was good. Yeah.
They're Martin Sheen and Doctor Who have a great chemistry.
Martin Sheen's great.
Martin Sheen. I'm sorry. The other Sheen. What's his name?
Whatever, the English version of.
You mean
Michael? He is Michael. He's Welsh. He's Welsh.
Michael, right? Michael.
Yeah. No, God, he's not related to any of the Sheens from America.
No, I know that.
He's Welsh.
Okay.
He is a Sheen, but
but Johnny was saying like Martin Sheen or Emilio Estevez.
Is it Michael?
No, Martin. Martin Martin Sheen actually has a brother who did B movies in the 80s. I don't know his name. I could get his name, but he looks and sounds just like him too. It's hilarious.
You mean Joe Estevez?
Yes.
Joe Estevez, who's obviously Emilio's father. He was the one who's on Tim and Eric and all that.
Wait a minute. Emilio's father is a lookalike for the other guy? For Martin?
All right, can we just move on now?
Yeah, no, I'm confused.
Did the wife?
They're not look-alike either. They just look similar.
Oh, I thought. Okay, so the wife had a type. Like,
He's not actually a clone, you know.
no, I didn't say he was, but I'm wondering about.
I don't want to start off a discussion about clones either, but I'll just mention a few films that are coming out soon. I did go and see Talk to Me, by the way.
Wait a minute. I know they cloned Tyrone.
Okay, wait. Joe Estevez is the younger
was-
brother of Martin Sheen and is the uncle of Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. Okay, that clears it up. Okay.
Wait, he related to them?
Yeah, Joe Estevez is.
Yeah, but none of these are Americans. We're talking about
Yeah.
Michael Sheen.
Yeah,
who's
sorry
a-
about that.
Yeah, Michael Sheen. Man.
Oh, Michael Sheen. Okay, he's not related to them though.
No.
Okay.
There's a new documentary called My Name is Alfred Hitchcock coming out.
Ooh,
Or it has come out here actually already.
Oh,
Yeah, I used to be devoted to that.
I did see the horror film Talk to Me, which was not bad, by the way.
Heard that many.
I saw they cloned Tyrone, and that's a good watch.
That's a good
You
watch.
guys should check that one out on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
good. It's good.
There's so many different things, but
Yeah.
it's difficult to find something that's on a par with like the new, this new thing from Britt Marling and Zal Batman Leach, or
Mhm.
however you say his name. He's like the OA creator, with
Yeah. Okay.
and
Is
at
that-
first we thought it was called Retreat, but now the name of it is A Murder at the End of the World. But it's supposed to be released at the end of August. They've changed it until November now, though.
Oh, could you imagine that was coming up so close too? Like, we
Which-
could have been. Oh, we could have been watching that.
Well, it's a shame because
Yeah.
it's definitely something I think that we would all have watched, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, it seems to do with basically promotion for it and stuff. So if you look at things like Barbie, they've not really even had to promote it, have they? It's got a lot of music from it and things like that. Which I mean, I
Yeah,
bought the album
yeah.
obviously and had it on all this week, pumping out Dua
Hmm.
Lipa, but. Yeah, there's like young children going to see that film, but it's a 12 here, which doesn't make any sense to me.
There's something wrong. Right, like we said.
I am a sophisticated moralist, and I think that's wrong. But
Sophisticated moralist. Not just a moralist, a sophisticated one.
I think Turtles.
no, I've said this before, and many people have agreed with me that
Who's agreed with
but agreed on my statements. Like,
Hmm.
if you're not 12, you can't go to see Barbie. I know you like dolls, but you get out.
No.
Get out.
I know
And
there's
even
a lot of
"Get
women.
out!"
There's a lot of women who get dressed up to go see that, all in pink and everything. It's a huge thing.
A lot of.
Women dressing like pink, hot pink.
Oh right, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But the
Hey,
thing,
Wait a minute. For Dan Peak, that comment there, you better get your physical copies while you can, because they're cutting out the part where he says the N-word.
no, only on Disney.
Wow.
It's
With the
just
French
because
connection,
Disney is very like.
the French connections on Disney.
I don't understand Disney at all.
Yeah, I'm not like. Well, it is in this country. Yes,
I
It's-
understand. Okay.
It's weird. If they cut it off, if they cut it out in one country, then they cut it out in every country. So, I mean, not that the UK leads the market or
That's
anything.
a shame.
It leads to the moral market. Oh, what's the UK do?
Moral sophistication.
Yeah.
No, I mean the film. You can get it on loads of old DVD copies and things.
But
It came
Mandela
in a
does
double
make a
box.
great point about having a physical copy, because he is right. The more it becomes digitized, the more stuff can be removed or lost if you
It's
don't have
just,
it.
it's just a shame because even though it's
Well,
about,
I don't think you necessarily need the film to hear the N word.
No, I'm just saying in
Okay.
general of having a physical copy of a movie. Because, like, for instance, Nintendo recently closed their store for Wii and for 3DS, right? So in one instant, everything that was in the library, everything that was there is now gone and lost because they closed their
Well,
store.
Cameron is very much a physical media type of person. So.
Yes, he is, and I really respect that. Yeah,
Whereas Voltaire is like completely against it.
he's all digital. Yeah, exactly.
not that you should own a movie to hear the N word.
No. I wasn't saying that. At all.
We do learn from our mistakes of the past, and if we can't learn from our history, we're going to be doomed to repeat it again.
And or if
Well,
it's part of the story and you're literally changing a movie's plot or something, then you're destroying.
We did a watch along of Vault.
Aesthetic reasons.
Hold on.
It's their copy. They can do their property. They can do whatever they want with it.
But
So,
the point is with that character is that he is a racist piece of shit cop, and it takes away from
he's not racist.
that character. Yeah.
He's just inhabiting the space he's in.
Hmm.
Popeye Doyle was renowned for using words like that, etc., in real life, but it was just part of the whole, the
Like
kind
the
of world
culture?
that they inhabited.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't, I'm not saying it's right, but
No. But you're saying what they, yeah.
prejudiced, I would say, not
Yeah.
racist.
Okay, that's fair.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. What James says. Yeah.
It's just like anything else. Like
He used anything, language as a way of coercing the criminals and stuff, didn't he?
Yeah.
Have you been picking your feet in Poughkeepsie and all that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Here's
That's
what's
a good
wild.
point. Yeah.
That's very volatile.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's crazy. I'm a Disney fan, so I know their catalog pretty good. And if you go on Disney, they have The Happiest Millionaire, which is one of my favorite movies. But in that movie, they have the most Irish stereotyped leprechaun-y character you've ever seen. But like Peter Pan has a warning before it, has native depictions, stereotypes that are outdated. But if it's an Irish guy and a white Caucasian man, that's fine. There's no warning on that one. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get that movie canceled because it's a great movie. But everybody should see.
You can't have it both ways, Mandela, man. You can't have. Did we have either warn everything?
It was
I thought we were gonna. I think we're gonna. We're better just.
Hold on. It was the last movie Walt worked on before.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Stars the guy from My Two Dads. It's like
And they called that the golden age, right? Of Disney.
really
That was the golden
stereotypical
age?
rich man.
I mean, we're not skimming over the surface of these things. Like, for instance, Johnny, have you seen French Connection 2?
Not the second one. No.
I thought years ago.
Well, I mean, in terms of Dan Peake saying that it's almost superior, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true, but it's certainly a good film. Definitely. Very good, even, I would say.
It changed the landscape of film in the 70s. And
No, I'm talking about the sequel.
Yeah.
they both did.
I don't know. I don't think French Connection 2 did, because it didn't
They're
light up the box office in the same way. So
No, but their serious tone. I don't know when Serpico came out, but I think they might have influenced each other and things like that.
yeah, I mean, if anything, French Connection 2 is a little bit more light-hearted, but then it is a good film, And me and Voltaire, for instance, watched Wise Blood on here, which I always tell everyone.
I watched
to watch.
I watched you watching that. Yeah, that was a good one. That was funny.
I mean, that has a few N-words in it, so and that's not been censored. So you've got to bear in mind who's censoring and why. It's because in case some family sits down with a 5-year-old and watches French Connection, which is never going to happen.
I know.
Or the kid watch.
It's just nonsensical, and to try and make sense of it all,
They should watch. They should watch
Aaron, really.
Yeah.
before their kids watch it. They should maybe skim through it a little bit.
Yeah, I think a parent might think of that one.
You know what I mean? Parental guidance,
Yeah, but
you might want
They
to.
had ratings back
But we did do a nearly 3-hour video yesterday, and this one's now 2 hours. So
Okay, boy.
just think of anything else you want to say before we finish, and then
I think AI has finally reached sentience. Like this week.
All right, but this has got nothing to do with films or anything.
Well, it's gonna be making.
Well, what about the AI? How right now they're
You're just
picking?
freaking me out. You're just
Hold on.
freaking me out now.
all of Hollywood is on
Yeah,
strike
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
this
the
right
Hollywood.
now, so it's
yeah.
very relevant. You know,
Mhm.
they're talking about
Well, there's on strike because
this thing's going to be creating scripts and all kinds of other stuff. So I think it's relevant.
I honestly think they've been using it for years. Because you just watch any Adam Sandler film and you tell me that's not written by AI. Come on.
The new Mickey game seems like it was
Like it
designed
was spit out by
an AI.
garbage
It's the most boring,
most atrocious,
atrocious thing I've ever seen done to a main character.
Yes.
The difference between Mickey and Mario is
And we're even playing
the
co-op
Grand
mode.
Canyon right now. As far as creativity, it's really sad for
I mean,
me.
they have like some Kathleen
As a
Kennedy
Disney kid.
characters in there. It's fun to beat them up or whatever.
Yeah, they have a character in the game
Fleshed
that's
out 3 ways.
actually seems to be based on Kathleen Kennedy.
Really?
Yeah, they even
I
show
swear to
stock
God.
sharks in the background.
They
going
show-
down to the down.
Yeah, they show stock.
Right, I'm gonna have to head off now because it's like late here. So
All right.
I don't really know
I love you
what
guys.
this has all got to do with though. This end part.
Oh well, the
AI
is
and
basically
the
like
Hollywood strike and it becoming
every movie may be changing in life.
you know, just like we saw in Star Wars. When
Yeah, but you're not talking about literal like
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Wars content
No, I'm
is-
not-
like the film. What's it called? iRobot.
way beyond that,
Wait,
bro.
look at all the new Star Wars content. That's what we're talking.
I'm talking
about, kinda,
AI
you know?
Kubrick's
Pure garbage
yes,
with no old content whatsoever.
Look.
You know,
Look, all they had to ever do was figure out how to get an interface that would feel the same human as us, right? Once they can do that, they're gonna pass that. They're gonna pass that Turing test. So it's just news, you know. In the entertainment world,
I don't know. I mean,
you know, we got the nanny and Iger duking it out and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's part of the zeitgeist, I think.
yeah, love that. All right.
Good night, boys.
it's a scary. It's a very, very scary thought. But
Your hand has already become AI already. I mean, oh my god.
Oh wow.
Better watch out, bro. I just heard about a new pacemaker that goes on the outside of the body, and you don't have to put wires inside. So
that's good.
finally, with a double shelf life, you know, doesn't have to be taken out for 10 years instead of 5. You know, so it turns out maybe I didn't wait for nothing.
Oh, I bet you like a plate full of sausages right now.
I would actually, with onions.
Oh.
I
suck.
Where are you going with what the fuck?
I keep wanting.
It's stuck.
I keep wanting to have the
Get your hands off me, you dirty brute. Oh, yeah. Your teeth feel so good. I tell you, I'll fight you, cat here.
Okay, so movies we're all looking forward to is The Haunted Mansion. Okay.
See, now this one says. See what it says on it.
No, not at all.
This
bro.
one says hand.
Does it say Manos, the Hand of Fate?
No, at one point it said Millie's hand on it, but I changed it because that was disrespectful. So.
Billy's hand. Oh my god.
Johnny, they ruined Indiana Jones so bad that
I know.
I can't give them the benefit of the doubt on it. The more commercials,
I did have to watch this in the bath actually.
the more trailers of Haunted Mansion I see, the worse it looks. Like James is saying, like it's. You had a opportunity to correct a bad B movie.
It's
with
basically Eddie Murphy reskinned. Like that's
It
it.
seems-
20 years later, literally to the day almost.
Yeah,
too.
that's it. Oh, great movie.
It's a bummer.
It's another
I'll
one.
tell you this. When that Eddie Murphy movie came out, this is a scoop for you guys. I went to the Haunted Mansion in Florida.
Yeah.
And they actually did. There's a rumor about this. I saw it. There was an Eddie Murphy figure at one point added above where the spider scene used to be. And he was just like up, like plastered on a wall as if
Demon was pushing him up.
as if he was walking on the wall and like he jutted out and looked down at your vehicle. But they took that out after like a week or two because so many people complained about it.
Really?
But yeah, it's just an internet rumor. But I actually saw that Eddie Murphy animatronic thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
guys, there you go. That's a scoop. Right there. I'm
Eddie Murphy animatronic.
I'm 110% positive on that one.
Okay, fair enough. It was an Eddie Murphy animatronic with a strap-on dildo.
Why?
Oh,
Strap on.
poor James.
And some children were like, "Oh, mummy,
You can go on.
that black man's got a big one."
Why did you need to strap a dildo on?
Yeah.
I just want to say though, I do love BBC. I mean,
Do you? How much did they
when I
pay
say
you?
BBC, the BBC.
Oh, baby.
No, somebody was spray painting that around in places. Someone did it on a phone box here. It said like, "I love BBC," and I was like, "Yeah, it is a good channel, the British Broadcasting Corporation."
Yeah.
That's how I watch EastEnders. So it's like I was like just standing there going,
Give the
"Well done." I took a photo. Can you take a photo of me with you, please? Yeah, if you want me. All right. You love BBC. You do know what that means, right? Yes.
You talking about big black
What?
cock? Oh no, you talking
Big black what?
BBC? That's
Right. Well,
if you Google
It's a
it.
great TV. It's a great TV company. Yes. It's a British public broadcasting. I don't know about BBC. What's that?
I don't know what you were just talking about.
When I look
Big black what?
when I look BBC up on Google, that's what seems to come up. For me. I
BBC
don't know.
just came right up.
The Big Black Corporation. That's not the right name.
No, not what I said.
Right. All right,
What did you say?
we can argue about that.
Big black cock.
Gary wants to know what's going on the EastEnders.
Big black clock.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
With a fine sheen.
That's wrong. You can't have a massive black cock.
The Michael Sheen.
The cock, I mean, clock.
With the-
On the Haunted Mansion, right? Mommy, what is
You want
that?
to find out why it's so haunted? We'll show you.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I mean, he made a good film or two, though, especially Norbit. That was a good one.
Yeah, Norbert and
I like
Pluto. Wasn't there another one called Pluto Nash or something?
Talk about so bad it's good. That is.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do with your Amityville editing. It's like create a world within a world with yourself.
Mhm.
Like that. I mean, it's cheesy to say Norbit in a way, but that's what you do with your Amityville editing, bro. Because you have the skills. Really, I believe that.
No, I think, like, wait. Is Norbit a world within a world in that film, wasn't
Well, he's playing every character. So when we said you,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
You're right, actually. That's a
Mhm.
good connection, I will say.
aliens,
Yeah, yeah.
not really.
And Johnny gave me the idea as well, which I would never have thought of really. But I mean, it's not, it's one idea about like walking through a door in, say, one house, and then you kind of turn out into the Amityville house. But
Watch a simple ARG.
it's a straightforward. I think the simple ideas are sometimes the best,
The
really,
best ones, yeah.
I mean, more people
rather than.
ARG than a movie.
Do you ever check out what's called ARGs, augmented reality games, videos about them?
Yeah.
'Cause
No.
that's a really hot way to tell a story right now, where people have
With
to
one
peop-
camera.
people have to infer from the details what's the unsaid thing. It's kind of Kubrickian like that,
Yeah. With
But then the X-Files do that with their virtual episode, and
You know, like,
Murder, She Wrote did that too.
I tried to get you guys to watch like
Murder, She Wrote had a virtual episode.
had that virtual episode, yeah.
and he did live
Well, you used like
and did a whole show
It was like a season 9 or 10 episode.
live feed action.
really they had like
Yeah.
what? And those you used those VR goggles.
Yeah.
Crazy shit, and this guy
Yeah.
did it right,
yeah.
and he fucking
You could be the main character played by Angela. What's her name?
Rich.
Lanigan.
Lansbury?
Lansbury. Yeah.
improvisation.
I don't know who Lanigan is. That's
Like watch
probably
Ted,
a distant relative.
Hmm.
and that'll teach you how to edit your Amityville in one sitting.
Gary brings up a good
okay.
question about music. That'll be something we would have to figure out.
You guys ever watch Mandela?
Well, I don't know anything about AUG. Sorry, but
Well,
I appreciate.
ARG.
just look
Oh, I
at-
thought it said you. I thought
No,
I was thinking. I suppose I was thinking of augmented. Yeah, ARG.
augmented reality games. They're called, but they're storytelling.
Okay. Apologies.
Look
Phantom
up
Cooper knows
a
what he thinks.
Lynchian one is Mandela County, which or Mandela Catalog, which I've tried to get you guys to watch before,
Or 10 tapes.
or the Backrooms by.
I think Voltaire has actually been spending all this time when he's not been on videos making an augmented reality
I think
film
so.
about called Coffee and Donuts.
Yeah.
Has he not been back?
He was but yesterday, yeah,
Oh,
and previous again as well, yeah.
Been changing so many diapers, bro.
I would like to use some music from Josh because he's he's done good stuff. But other than that, I'll probably just use anything really.
Thanks, James. I literally have my own channel dedicated to music. This guy.
Yeah, but I haven't listened to it all ever.
That's
so
true. That's true. I would have to give you a sample or something.
I'm not pretending like I know it all or something. But
Yeah.
I do like your. I mean, for instance, the latest one is a Terminator one, isn't it? And
Yes.
Johnny.
Blade Runner, if I'm correct. There's a lot of that, obviously, but
Johnny, the AI can make its own original beats now and collaborate with you instead of relying.
I refuse to work with a machine. That takes the fun out of it.
Bro, it's not pre-recorded though. It's on the fly. It's making up stuff and some pretty dope stuff sometimes. We were listening to it earlier. Like it was some riveting music. Like I was blown away. But yeah, man.
What are the back rooms? I imagine Voltaire's house.
I think that's it's Kane Pixel.
Oh, no. Kane Pixels.
Kane Pixels. Go to that YouTube channel, and that's the official Backrooms version.
Stop some shit out there.
It's really, really interesting.
Hey, this is all new to me. I have no idea about this.
Yeah, no, he's using
Unreal Engine.
he's using Unreal Engine to make videos that look like real reality.
Yeah, and then people
And
are lost in these back rooms that never end.
We could give you a scoop on that, but that's a long story and a long show, And James has to ask.
Do you think you'll be available next Sunday?
Yeah, I apologize for the absence, but
or in between as well.
Right.
Obviously, I know you've been looking after your granddad.
Me and James have been looking forward to doing maybe a watch along at some point. Or
okay, yeah, cool. Yeah,
get all of us.
Of probably
The Incredible Melting Man.
What about this Blake Edwards movie? Can we watch that and see what they're talking about? Like, I've never seen that. I forget what the article said. The name of it is, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
You mean like the director of the Pink Panther?
Is it not Blake Edwards? You mentioned. Remember, I mentioned it earlier that Twin Peaks was
based on that 60s movie.
It was based on that 60s movie. I thought it was.
Collider did an article recently. I don't know if I really agree with it. Was it all factual what you were talking about? This movie?
I've never seen the movie, so I don't know.
James, there's an article that came out that said there's some movie in the 60s that had a town called Twin Peaks and that David Lynch shot a lot of his.
Oh, you mean
it had a one-armed man supposedly or something, or no, a Frank Booth too.
Well, they were drawing comparisons between the Outer Limits as well, which are valid. There are certain shots in The Return which are very similar to things in the Outer Limits. But I think Lynch is inspired by things and maybe even notes them. But he's not the sort of person who would make a book of every little film reference everywhere. Because Gordon Cole comes from Sunset Boulevard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So therefore, it seems sensible that. And he says, we was driving through, Hollywood, and then he saw a street that said Cole something. And then there was another one just a way up from that, Gordon Street. So he's like, oh, right, this, I've got to use this. But, because he remembered maybe from the film Sunset Boulevard, but you can't always trace everything, directly from this. Yeah, that film that it was coming from, I don't think it's something that Lynch sort of sits down and watches. Then make Twin Peaks,
That's what they're saying, though, that it has such similar music and a Frank Booth. I mean, that he did draw some inspiration, or Mark Frost.
Oh yeah, Lynch definitely was inspired by films. Definitely, but
not films. This specific film, and I've never heard of this film, to be honest with you. I think it was something about
murders or something. You're looking it up.
Uh,
Collider article about Twin Peaks.
I remember the shots. It had like a street sign, or I mean a town sign saying Twin Peaks, didn't it, or something like that.
Oh, have you seen the movie?
But that's Twin Peaks in the San Francisco area, isn't it? That's the real Twin Peaks.
Hey, hold on.
I don't know. It was. I think it's the 60s.
So it's not like Lynch and Frost invented the term Twin Peaks, because that was originally invented for bras. So
Phantom Cooper, the backroom. Not an ARG. No, Phantom Cooper. The Backrooms is an original ARG that so many other people have picked up on that you are watching some other person's version of it that is made in a computer that's cheap, and so that's why you think that. But, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the
I think
movie
like an article on.
Okay, the movie was a Blake Edwards movie called Experiment in Terror from 1963.
Oh yeah, that's famous. That's very famous.
There you
yeah.
go. I've never seen that film.
That's probably a Lynch, like a film that he liked. Like people said when they went to Lynch's house or his, probably his kind of where he would have a TV or whatever, his lounge and stuff, that he had like shelves full of VHS. This is not like recently, but in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, I mean, that's how you would have them in the past, isn't it?
If we could pay for it on YouTube, I'd even pay for it so we could put it and we could watch it on our stream. That would be cool.
Experiment in Terror.
Yeah, I've never seen it, and if they're saying what that it relates in some way, I mean, I think
it's on YouTube
for us. Yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out in the interim and then come do it.
All right.
It's on YouTube for free. So
Phantom Cooper. It's based on a Reddit posts about the Backrooms being, an airy. What's that word?
Liminal space.
Liminal space. Yeah, that's how it started. But then Kane Pixels is a graphic designer that picked it up and has made a series about it. That seems real. And the way he's using Unreal Engine, it's going to be revolutionizing the way video games look in the future and how real they look. He's been able to do something that nobody else has done with graphic design. I mean, it looks realer than
Okay, well,
movie.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna say goodnight to everyone now, and hopefully we'll meet again here pretty soon.
All right, boys.
So thank you again for coming on, Johnny, and also Ben, aka Mandela Man.
Thank you for having me.
And your brother there as well. So
Thank you, James.
We'll see you in
thank
the
you. Thanks again. See you in the trees.
Oh,
Bye, everyone.
Trees. Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao, Bell.